Hey, all you cool cats and gamers! Welcome to No Category Left Behind, the GDQ hotfix show that showcases category extension speedruns. I'm your host, Nuclear Reaction, and tonight I've got with me Mr. Alberto showcasing some Wind Waker HD for y'all. Before we get started, though, I do have some announcements. Games Done Quick will be at PAX East 2022, April 21st to April 24th. If you're interested in submitting a run, use command PAX in Twitch chat and fill out the form. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, go to twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick if you're interested in looking at our live content, starting weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. So your subs, gift subs, Prime Gaming subs, and bits help support weekly hotfix content. Please consider supporting our daily content if you enjoy these hotfix shows. And if you have any ideas for your own show or one-off event, feel free to go to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix to submit your ideas. All right, so tonight, Wind Waker is absolutely my favorite Zelda game, personally. So I'm really excited to see this run, but if you're familiar with Wind Waker any percent speedruns at all, you know that the zombie hover is a huge part of that run at the end. They do this huge hover up to the top, skipping Puppet Ganon. That's not going to be allowed. So, Mr. Alberto, can you kind of highlight what's the differences between, this run and an any percent run?
Hey, so this is beat the game as fast as possible. Same thing as any percent. However, because the zombie hover glitch, which is the trick that allows you to gain height, is banned, it turns out there's only one way to reach that final platform leading to the final boss Ganondorf without the hookshot. And so because we cannot zombie hover, we have to get the hookshot. And getting the hookshot is actually an hour detour. So the any percent world record, the any percent world record is 45 minutes, but this is going to be around an hour and 45 minutes if it goes well. So we're going to be visiting every single dungeon in the game, but we don't have to beat them. So this is going to be pretty similar to all dungeons, but the difference is that we don't have to beat any of the dungeons, only the ones that are required to get us to the hookshot.
So I'm assuming that means we'll still be seeing some barrier skip as well?
Mm-hmm. Yep, barrier skip does save a lot of time in this category. Yeah, even though we're not doing barrier skip to reach the end of the game to beat it immediately, we do get to the end of the game, and then we're going to backtrack and go back to the overworld and do 2 more dungeons, and then go and beat the game.
Wow, that's so... Yeah, we get to see, chat, we're going to get to see every dungeon tonight, which you normally don't see in any percent. It's essentially, I'm seeing comments in chat, it's hookshot percent, essentially, because that is the one item that we will be going out of the way to get, since we won't be able to zombie hover in the end. Also, if you want to take a chance to introduce your commentators for us.
Yeah, so these are my commentators. I have Joash here.
Hi, my name is Joash. Well, obviously. I also go by Juice. I currently have second place in this game, right next to Al.
and we have Bewilderbeast.
Hi, I'm Bewilderbeast, and I have played this game before, I promise.
What a combo.
Yeah, fun fact, when Bewilderbeast, he's doing Twilight Princess right now. Bewilderbeast just got world record in Twilight Princess 100%, but once upon a time, Bewilderbeast did run this game. And so when I asked him if he wanted to do commentary, he said, "Are you sure? There's nobody else you could ask? Are you sure?" I'm like, yeah, you did all dungeons, and this is very similar to all dungeons, which is what Bewilderbeast ran. So it's very, very similar. There's actually only a few key differences with the all dungeons category.
Yeah, I was going to ask, did either of you run this category at all, or?
I ran this category like a year ago, and I've actually been meaning to do a run of it because my current PB on this particular category is on an older route. So I mean, I could probably improve my PB on it pretty easily. But I used to run it a pretty good bit, like a year or so ago.
No, and I haven't run it before, but it looks pretty cool. I like the differences.
what we said, you did all dungeons, so that's
Right, which is very,
Okay.
very similar. It's
very similar.
all dungeons.
But you would have had to completed all the dungeons, I'm assuming, in that category.
Right, it includes everything
Okay.
that's in this run except for a couple of things.
Got it.
Yeah, actually, the first half of the category is exactly identical to all dungeons. It's only the later half where you start seeing a bunch of changes.
Yep.
Got it.
This is all dungeons,
I'm excited.
but-
I'm excited to see this run. So, Mr. Alberto, if you're ready, go ahead and count us down, and we'll get started.
Alrighty, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go!
Here we go. Good luck.
Alrighty. So, this game, you might have noticed the text, if you kind of noticed already, it's not in English, but it's not in Japanese either. You may have expected Japanese, but it's actually in Italian. Italian is the fastest text in this game. There's no Italian exclusive glitches. It's just because the text scrolls the fastest. Also, oi!
Oi.
Oi!
Issue a nice
One more.
Frappino as well.
Oi!
Oi.
Yeah, this game is really good looking. This is the HD remake of the original game. There's going to be a few changes. The beginning is the same idea as in the GameCube version. We spawn an outset, and so the intro is really slow. You're supposed to do a bunch of stuff and go to Forsaken Fortress and try to save Errol. But I'm going to skip that entire thing because this is on the same overworld as all of the islands in the game. So if we can just swim off the island, we can sequence break and get to places early. And there is a way to do that. So I'm going to be repetitively turning around the water, and that requires frame perfect pausing because I can only build speed if I am frame perfectly turning around on every alternative frame. So I'm going to frame advance by pause buffering, and I'm going to have to do that about 200 times. And then I can perform a camera glitch where I can get the camera to move behind Link every frame, so I can just hold up and charge the remaining amount of speed, and we're gonna fly off this island and go to Dragoners.
Alright, so as Alberto goes into the water here, one thing you want to kind of look out for to know if he's doing it successfully, if you look at the rupee counter as he's pausing, you'll notice if the rupee counter is not flashing, then that means he's getting the frame perfect pauses that he needs. However, if it does flash, it means he was a frame late, which actually doesn't gain you any speed. Basically, how this works is every time you turn 180 degrees in the water, you get a little bit of speed going backwards, and then you lose that speed. However, as you can see here, you can actually just keep stacking that speed, and that's how we can just gain all the speed that we want in the water. So as Alberto explained, we're going to be doing this for a little bit, but we're not going to be doing this to build up all of our speed. We're actually going to get to a certain amount of speed so that we can do another trick called the upcharge, which I'll explain a little bit more as we get there. But you can already at this point start to see how Link is starting to like kind of split off into two different places now with each individual pause, and he's just gonna keep spreading as he goes here. Also really important to know, if you played this game before, you may remember that when you swim in this game, you have an air meter, which gives you a limited amount of time to swim. However, there's a really convenient spot on that wall there where it actually refills your air meter, which is very, very helpful for this this trick here. Okay, so it looks like Alberto just has enough speed, and he's going to go for the upcharge, and he got it. And so now the camera's in such a position to where he's going fast enough to where if he just holds up, Link will always be facing the camera. And what's happening here is that when Link is facing the camera's trying to go behind Link, but when the camera goes behind Link, then Link also turns around, and then the camera tries to go behind Link again, and so on and so forth. And now it's basically doing the exact same action that we were doing just without pause buffering. And so with that, he was able to gain the rest of the speed that he needed and go all the way to Dragon Roost.
So fast, you barely have time to explain it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, this is definitely considered one of the hardest tricks in the game, and so just being able to pull it off is usually a feat in itself. However, I have done this trick quite a few times. I've done it thousands of times, so it definitely feels easier the 1,000th time versus the first time you do it.
Oh, wait a minute now. Where's your boat, though?
Wait,
Aren't you supposed to have your
where
boat
is
here?
it?
I'm not sure. Where'd he go? Wait, is he over there? Wait, no, I don't see him. Where'd he go?
Oh my
He's
goodness.
invisible!
Oh, no.
Yeah, so one of the things that I normally have to do at the start, but I've skipped it, and I'll come back and do it later, is beating Forsaken Fortress the first time. And that is what spawns the boat into the overworld. So instead, I got to Dragon Roost early, and so because I'm here early, the boat is supposed to be spawned during this cutscene, but he's not. Because of the fact that I didn't even beat the dungeon. But I will go back and beat it later. It's just not faster until I can perform an item slide. We're gonna see that later.
Yeah, basically the idea of coming here first is to get an item slide item, and that just means a first-person item other than the telescope. Also, very nice rock skip.
Ooh,
Thank
very
you.
nice, very nice.
That trick is used to skip bombing all the boulders on the island. You could use that jump to get to that area early.
So basically, we're coming here to get the grapple, which is the first-person item that you can get easily. And from there on, the movement in this game is going to change a whole lot. Al's going to be just zooming around without charging up with a bunch of pauses. We'll see that in, I think, 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's kind of funny
a
that...
bit more.
Yeah, about 12, 13 minutes. It's kind of funny that we start off the run with such an exciting glitch, and then we have glitchless movement for the next, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
However, since we did skip some items with the manual super swim, some of this glitchless movement will actually be a little bit more unique than it would be if we hadn't have done the manual super swim, which we'll see more when we actually get into Dragon Roost Cavern. But there are still some interesting things you can look out for here, which we'll see in a bit. But right now we have a little bit of a breather from a massive swimming adventure.
Yes.
Well, one thing we can check out is Link's pajamas.
Yeah, he's got a lobster on it. On his shirt.
Oh yeah. Why bother changing?
That's my favorite part about Manual Super Swim. Not the skipping the 15 minutes worth of cutscenes, but the fact that we get to beat the game in our pajamas.
Best way to play the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, Al, are you going to show your gamepad view for the equip? The letter
I
equip?
could, is it okay if I point the controller down and look at my gamepad during this part?
Hope so.
Yeah, this should be fine.
Okay.
As long as it's not a big hassle for you.
Yeah.
Because one thing that I've always found impressive about people who are really fast at this game is how they do equips. Because in this game, equips happen while you're playing, right? He can just move an item around on his gamepad while playing, while rolling around and bonking a little bit, and equip it to one of his buttons. And right after he talks to Medley here, he's going to be getting this letter. He needs to open the delivery bag on his gamepad and drag the letter over to one of his buttons while he's falling. You notice that Link won't stop. He's not going to stop moving while he does this.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah, even though you can equip stuff in real time, so you don't have to worry about pausing and doing all that. Because in other Zelda games, we have to pause to do equips. Part of the routing involves what items you equip during certain equips and whatnot. And being able to equip while still being in gameplay is really nice in that regard, so we don't have to worry about that as much. However, there is still that extra little bit of skill involved to where you have to still manage your items while doing everything that you have to do in the run.
Yeah, super impressive when done smoothly like that. Oh, one other thing, you'll notice Al is going to roll up these stairs in a kind of odd fashion. In this game, and I think the original Wind Waker, you'll bonk on most stairs if you try to roll up them directly. So whenever Al's rolling up stairs, he's going to be rolling so that he can move quickly, faster than just running, but he wants to roll at an angle so he doesn't bonk all over the place.
It's kind of funny, it depends on the stairs. Some stairs, you never bonk on them. But some stairs, it's very hard to not bonk on them. And yeah, rolling at them at an angle helps with you not bonking, but sometimes you just bonk anyway.
Yeah,
that's an example of stairs.
There's a set of stairs in Dragon Roost where the first half of them are not bonkable, and then there's a second set of them right after that where they are bonkable. So it's
Yep.
Cool moment there.
Yeah. You're like, what the heck? I didn't bonk on the previous set. Why am I bonking on this set? Come on.
Game got to keep you on your toes.
I guess so, yeah. This is another fast equip here.
Yeah, he's got to equip the bottle between Link standing where he is right now and getting over to the water that's a few feet to the right.
Yeah, you have no time to equip that.
Oh,
Yeah, taking advantage of equips while you're rolling is definitely like the play here. So, fun fact about this this boulder here. This boulder is very special compared to every other boulder in the fact that this boulder can only be blown up by the bomb flowers. If you were to get the actual bomb item and bring it back here, it won't work on this boulder. This boulder is quite literally built different.
Yeah, so even if I got bombs, I wouldn't be able to use them. You have to get the bottle and you have to use the bomb flower. Little basketball here.
On some hoops.
What do you think? Am I ready for the NBA?
Definitely.
I think you are. Like, no doubt about it.
and now we are already entering the first dungeon, and one very interesting thing about how this dungeon is going to be completed is that Al doesn't have a sword. He skipped the whole intro where he's supposed to get a sword and a shield. He's not equipped for this.
Wait, I don't have a sword? Oh no.
Oh no!
I forgot my sword!
Never leave home
What
without
are
your
you
sword.
going to do?
Well, maybe I could just throw things at enemies. That'll work.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
So there are these objects that you can pick up and hold in your hand in every single room of this dungeon, very conveniently, because you can use them and throw them at enemies, and then the enemy will drop their weapon, and then you can use their weapon by picking it up. And that makes every single room completable without sword.
Completable, but sometimes awkward.
Dragoner's Cavern.
Yeah. I'm also going to be getting rupees here. I need to be getting 80 rupees to buy the sale. So we're going to be getting rupees as we go in this dungeon.
Oddly enough, he's not going to be doing all that much sailing. There's a lot of super swimming, but not so much sailing, but he needs the sail so he doesn't soft lock after a cutscene.
Yeah. Well, not just that, but I also need it to leave Hyrule. You can't leave Hyrule unless you have the sail. So there, I roll as the boulder explodes to get to the door during the cutscene. And there was supposed to be a cutscene of me throwing that pot, but I skipped it by having a certain camera angle where the cutscene can't play when the platform forms.
So this Bokoblin right here, this is Fred. Everyone say hi to Fred.
Hi, Fred.
Hi, Fred.
So Fred can be very trolly sometimes in that since you don't have a sword, you have to use those pots next to him, and sometimes Fred is not really having a good day, and sometimes he just decides to break the pots that you're trying to use, which is very inconvenient. Doesn't happen too terribly often, but it still happens every now and then.
Seems like
He
he's
was
never
nice to me there.
having a good enough day to just hand his sword over to you.
Yeah, I guess he was feeling generous for GDQ.
Yeah. Right? You may also notice that when I'm holding objects, I'm side hopping with them. That's because I can't roll while holding the object. So the second fastest option that I can do while holding the object is side hopping.
Okay, now this is Frank. Everyone say hi to Frank.
Hi, Frank.
He was nice to me. Oh, looks like I'm making this lava cycle. Wow.
Ooh, nice.
This requires really good movement to beat that lava pillar, or else I'd have to wait for it.
Yeah, especially with getting rupees. Like, when you're doing a category where you have to get rupees in Dragoner's Cavern, that cycle is especially hard to make.
Yeah. Okay, so there I just did a frame perfect roll, if you guys want to explain that one.
So basically, we're gonna see this a whole lot more later in the run in a lot more interesting ways. But basically, what that is a roll clip. And whenever you climb a ledge, there's going to be one frame right after you're done climbing the ledge where Link is going to still be in his like initial position, and you have that one frame to be able to roll in any direction. So like, for example, if Link is kind of inside of a wall as he's climbing up the ledge, then after that one frame, he'll be pushed back outside the wall. But you can use that one frame to roll after you're done climbing to be able to like clip through walls, or in the case of what we did there, jump on that little part of the wooden platform.
We've mentioned a few things about frame perfect tricks so far. It's worth noting this game is at 30 frames per second. So that very long chain of frame perfect pauses that Alberto did at the very beginning for the manual super swim. All at 30 FPS. Quite tough.
Yeah, so I recently got a gold on manual super swim, and it was just unbelievably absurd. So I went back and looked at how many frame perfect pauses I got, and out of 204, 199 of them were frame perfect.
Yeah, and just that alone, just any kind of manual super swim that gets like that high of a ratio of like perfect pauses versus not perfect pauses, words. That ratio alone is just it's really impressive.
It was a 416, right?
Yeah, it was 416.
Yes.
Yeah, here we see how this can be a bit awkward not having a weapon of your own. Almost like the dungeon was designed for someone with a sword.
Yeah, I got a little bullied by those bokoblins there. Yeah, it's annoying because when you get hit, you drop the weapon. So, and then you have to pick it up again. And it's just so slow to swing, too.
Oh yeah, and why'd you turn the camera while you were climbing the ladder?
Oh, so if you aim the camera at that door during that cutscene, but right before the cutscene, then there's supposed to be a camera pan that happens during the at the start of the cutscene, and it's like a half-second camera pan. I skipped it by having the camera already on the door.
Very smart.
I believe that was found like a month or so ago, maybe a little longer than that,
recent.
but still like pretty fresh out of the oven.
So I just opened the warp pot to get back to that area that I was just in. The room across from there, you're supposed to get grapple first anyway, to grapple across. That's where the boss is. That's the boss door. So I need the grapple first, and we're gonna open that shortcut to get back. However, I'm not gonna be beating the dungeon yet. And you're like, why are you not gonna beat the dungeon if you're right here? So, there's a boss key skip you can do, but it requires leaf. So we're gonna come back later when we have a leaf.
Yeah, I guess it's also good to mention that we can actually beat the dungeon without the sword as well. Like, not only can we do what we're doing here without a sword, but we can just do the entire dungeon without a sword because we can actually defeat Goma all with the grappling hook, which is really amusing to see. If you ever want to see that actually happening, that actually is done in the Dins Pro category.
Very nice pearl drop. I need this pearl because it helps me buy the sale. So now we have a good amount of rupees. So because I skipped all of the early game, we missed a few checkpoints that changed the location that I save and quit. Because when you're in the early game, the game wants to keep you on outset when you save and quit. So when I'm going to save and quit here, and instead of it taking me to the start of the dungeon, I'm going to be going to outset. And that's very useful to get out of the dungeon really quickly. And so we're gonna come back later and skip the boss key. And now we're gonna perform the very powerful glitch, the item slide. This is the most powerful glitch in the entire game.
This essentially defines everything in this game, or at least like 90% of like all the tricks in this game.
Yep. Controller switch, by the way. Now I'm playing on a different controller.
Ooh, yes, special.
Probably better to talk about the item slide first. We'll get to the controller in a sec. But Alberto's now zooming around. He is exponentially gaining speed after doing a little bit of movement with his controller in first-person mode. And that means that he does not need to do another manual super swim to get off of outset. He just leaves. He just charges up some speed for a couple, actually less than a couple of seconds. And he's across the ocean.
Now, those enemies, those are moblins, but specifically they have lanterns. Unlike the one in Dragon Roost Cavern, those you're only supposed to encounter without a sword when you're in Forsaken Fortress 1. And so because of that fact, they're programmed to always throw you in jail if you do not have the sword. And that was very useful because I just used that to get into the dungeon. Because this is not on the overworld, it's a special map on its own. So that, I just got to the map, so I just escaped the jail cell, and now I can go beat the dungeon. Way faster to do with item sliding.
Also worth mentioning, the only reason that Al didn't end up at the beginning of Dragon Roost Cavern when he's saved and quit there is because the game still considers us in the intro. So at least at this current moment, Alberto is always going to spawn on outset anytime he saves and quits until we beat Forsaken Fortress here. I guess we should also talk about the differences between FF1 and FF2. So there's two different kinds of Forsaken Fortresses. We're in Forsaken Fortress 1 right now, and that's essentially the version that's where you have to sneak around past the guards from the beginning of the game. Like, we're in that version of Forsaken Fortress. And this version of it is not on the main map. So we can't get to any other islands from this Forsaken Fortress. Forsaken Fortress 2 is the one that's on the main map, and that's the one we do to fight like Phantom Ganon, the Helmar King, you know, like the bird and all that. So we need Forsaken Fortress 1 specifically to play a certain cutscene to advance the story a little bit. And so
We're finally going to get that boat we were missing earlier.
Ah, yes. So Alberto's going to be doing something called the FF1 door clip, and this is one of the more complicated item sliding tricks. He's going to get a very specific angle on this door, and he's going to perform a rope flip through this door. And keep in mind, like everything he's doing here is like really precise, like between his angle, his speed, the timing of the A press. And so once he does that, he's going to clip through the door. And the reason he wants to do this is that actually, I should go back a little bit. So we can actually get through this door just by defeating that bow goblin over there, but we want to actually clip through this door to perform the next trick known as pause storage, which is the reason why Alberto swapped to the Pro controller here. So what Alberto's going to do here is he's going to do a few slashes here, and he's going to open up the options menu as he goes through the loading zone. And so this is what is known as pause storage. So you'll see here that we actually have the pause menu opened up, like so, while the cutscene is playing. And so what happens here is that we actually have the options menu open in the background, but gameplay actually still but we can also still control gameplay. So whenever we open the options menu as we go through a loading zone, we can have the options menu open while we're still playing the game. And this is really important because, for example, on this particular instance of it, we're going to get to a certain part of the cutscene, and then Alberto is going to save and quit the game through the options menu and skip the cutscene by saving and quitting out of it. And the reason we need Pro Controller is because, I don't know the exact reasons behind it, but we can only be able to open the options menu while on the Pro Controller mode. So then... It's
just a different option menu. It just functions differently when you're on Pro Controller versus when you're on Gamepad. And it just doesn't work on Gamepad for some reason.
Oh, okay, yeah. So then once you actually have pause storage and you're ready to do the save and quit to skip the cutscene, you navigate to the option that lets you swap between Pro Controller and Gamepad. And then once you swap to the Gamepad, then you're able to access the save and quit menu, and you're able to save and quit out of the cutscene.
Yeah, and in general, that means that, you know, if you save and quit out of a cutscene, the game will consider the cutscene to have already been completed. By the way, the screen is supposed to look like an out-of-focus options menu right now. That is exactly correct, and that's what Alberto is seeing too. It's not like he's seeing the game and we're just seeing the options menu. He only sees that too. So later on, he's going to use pause storage to skip another cutscene, and, well, actually a couple of times. He's going to have to navigate with Link blind. He's not going to be able to see anything but the options menu while doing that, which will be very interesting.
So when I saved and quit, I went to Windfall. Because I watched that cutscene, now that's changed my save work flag, so now I'll be going to Windfall no matter where I save and quit.
Yeah, and at least in this particular cutscene skip, he had to wait until a certain part of the cutscene, or at least the part where he actually ends up on Windfall because of the requirements that are needed for that particular part of the cutscene. Otherwise, this would not have worked if he had saved and quit earlier on in the cutscene.
Yeah, the purpose of watching that cutscene and beating Forsaken Fortress is to spawn the boat on the overworld. I need the boat spawn. It's very, very important in this category. And so the boat doesn't spawn until I reach that part of the cutscene when the boat's talking to me on Windfall. And that's the point where I can save and quit to skip watching the rest of the cutscene because I've already gotten the flags for having watched the cutscene.
And now,
but it's only that second half that you care about.
Now he's gotten the all-important Tinkle Bottle, which we'll be using many times throughout the rest of the run. Just kidding.
Yes, a total of 0 times.
Zero
many
times.
times.
But no, he needs to free
And
Tingle so that he can buy the sail.
Yes.
Rest in peace, Miiverse. Rest in peace.
Yeah, it's funny. So the Tingle Bottle used to be useful. It was originally intended to allow players to send messages across the Miiverse to other players, and they can pick them up out of the ocean and read messages. But the Miiverse was shut down a few years ago, so now when you use the Tingle Bottle, it just says can't connect to Miiverse.
So sad.
Yeah.
Doesn't do anything.
And now that Al has the sail, he's going to do another super swim over to Great Fish.
Yeah, now he has the sail, so he's just not going to use it.
Yep.
Nope.
Gets the sail.
Nope, sailing is slow. And also, super swimming allows me to reach islands that you can't normally sail to. So I couldn't even sail over here if I wanted, because you're not supposed to be able to sail to this quadrant until after you have the Forest Pearl. So this is going to allow me to trigger this cutscene early. This cutscene spawns the pirate ship on Windfall and allows you to get bombs from Windfall. So that's one thing it does. And it will stay in this endless night until I free Jaboon by bombing the wall at outset. That's not until way later. We're interested in getting bombs early because of the fact that bombs are very powerful in the Forbidden Woods dungeon, which is the next dungeon we're going to be going to. They allow you to sequence break, and we'll see that in a second.
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, but before Alberto beat Forsaken Fortress 1, we always spawned at outset. But now we're always going to spawn at Windfall, and essentially this is the part of the game where we're having to be on Windfall to go get the sail and whatnot. And his save flags won't be considered fixed until he gets into the boat. So until Alberto gets into the boat, he'll always spawn in Windfall. Otherwise, whenever he gets into the boat, that's when he'll be able to spawn wherever he actually is.
That's very convenient,
normal.
though.
Yeah, but it works out really well because we're on an island that we can easily super swim off of. It should be worth noting, as far as super swims go, you need to actually ease yourself into the water, so you can see how you could see how Alberto went slowly into the water on the little ramp in the sand. That's because if you drop directly into the water, it won't work. So you need to ease you essentially just need to ease yourself into the into the water. Nice.
Password skip.
That was really good.
So what'd you just do there, Al? Why'd you
skip.
clip?
So when you reach Windfall, you're supposed to watch a really long cutscene where the pirates overspill the password, because this door is locked. You can't enter the pirate ship unless you have the password. But that's really slow, so instead I performed a roll clip where I landed on a very small amount of the collision that is out of bounds that you can stand on. And then I navigated to the loading zone behind the door in order to skip opening it. And so that skipped getting the password, and now we can get the bombs.
Here's the real final boss of the run, ropes.
Though they're a lot better than in the GameCube version.
Yeah, since you can turn while you're swinging.
Yeah. Though I did land a little high on that last rope, so I had to correct it or else I wouldn't have made it. But yeah, ropes are a lot better on the HD version than on GameCube because of the fact that you can turn while swinging. While in the GameCube version, in order to get myself to turn, you have to stop your momentum and then turn and then very slowly build your momentum back up, which I did have to do there because I had to go down on the rope. But the fact that you can turn while swinging actually makes runners think that this rope game is easier than the first rope game, even though this one's supposed to be harder. So now I have the bombs, and we're good to go. We got our early bombs. You're not supposed to get them this early.
And they're going to be very convenient because the first dungeon that Al is actually going to complete is Forbidden Woods. And you're really not supposed to have bombs at that point, and it just breaks all the puzzles, making it a much more straightforward dungeon.
Pro Controller again.
Oh boy,
Ooh, must
you
be
know what
coming
that
up.
means.
You know what that means.
Get to see some more options menu.
Right. So once again, as explained before, Alberto's going to ease himself into the water to be able to super swim.
Really cannot overstate how hard these super swims are in this category because of the fact that I'm in this endless night state from going to Great Fish early. That means that I cannot see very well at all for these super swims. And I don't have a map because the trigger for getting the map is watching the cutscene where Link gets launched out of the barrel into the Forsaken Fortress. And I did not do that, so I don't have a map. I cannot see anything, and I do not have a map. So really difficult to do those super swims.
Yeah, like being able to navigate during all this is really impressive, especially when we get to some of the harder islands that are like really small.
Here's
Alright,
another
so,
instance of, pause storage. You want to go ahead, Joash?
Yeah, sure. So, as Beast explained before, there's going to be instances where Alberto's going to have to do blind movement to perform pause storage. This is one of those instances. So the goal here is to beat the chews that are on the Great Deku Tree to start the cutscene of the Great Deku Tree talking to you. So Al's going to do a very specific setup here to be able to get to the cutscene with the chews by doing a combination of moving in certain directions and side hops and jump slashes to have consistent movement rather to get to exactly where he needs to go. And then he'll have to defeat the chews and then save and quit to skip the cutscene. Another thing to note about pause storage is since you have the options menu open, you also have to make sure you don't trip any of the options below, especially the one with changing the gamepad. You have to make sure you don't accidentally close the gamepad. So not only is he having to navigate blind, but he's also having to navigate the options menu, all without being able to see what's going on.
Yep. And looks like he got it, so he still is save warping back to Windfall. He's got to swim to Forest Haven again in order to go get the leaf that he just spawned. But he is skipping the entire Deku Tree cutscene, and believe it or not, it does save time, even though it seems very convoluted.
Also, you may notice that when I go to this island this time, I'm very careful to move back and forth to let the island load in time before I go there. That's because Forest Haven is one of the islands where if you enter the island while it's loading, the water will be unloaded and that'll cause Link to fall, which will make him lose all of his speed. So I have to be very careful to make sure it's loaded first.
We'll refer to that falling as splooshing for the remainder of this run.
Yep. Sploosh! Kaboom! Unfortunately, no sploosh kaboom in this run, though.
But we do get bulb skip,
We do.
We do. That is true.
as Al sends these bulbs to go get the leaf at the top. He is going to skip the last one, doing a daredevil stunt, landing on some invisible leaves just to the right of the texture.
Yeah, this platform, you can land on the very corner of it, which skips one of these bulbs. It looks kind of fishy because not all of it is visible, but it is there. So it looked like Link landed on thin air, but he did land on just part of the platform, just in the corner where the collision is not filled in with texture.
Oh, and here's one of my favorite equips in the run, leaf on the way down. Al's got to put the leaf on one of his buttons while he's falling, otherwise he'll meet his doom.
Yeah, this is a fun one.
Yeah. Link looked like he was kind of pumping his leaf. That's called a leaf pump, and I use that to preserve height. But first, let me look at this jump, by the way. It just shows you how crazy item sliding is. So I'm supposed to leap all the way across there and then change the wind a few times, but we can just charge enough speed with an item slide to travel the entire gap in one frame. Which is very, very fast.
And he needed his sword to do that. And that's going to be one of the reasons that Forsaken Fortress 2 is going to be so different from Forsaken Fortress 1, is that the route's going to be changed by the fact that he has the sword now. And you can see now what I was talking about before regarding this dungeon being pretty broken with bombs. The first room doesn't really have much of a puzzle, but Al didn't even need to go and get the seed to break the eye on the door.
Yeah, this dungeon was just not made for bombs.
Yeah.
No, that's why you're supposed to get bombs after the dungeon, not before.
One cool thing he's doing here is spacing 2 bombs out in front of the door so he doesn't have to wait for the bomb's timer to run out. The way those doors work is that if Link is too close to the eyeball, then it'll close and become invulnerable. So Alberto is putting Link far enough away that the eyeball will be open and spacing out 2 bombs so he can attack one that blows up the other bomb that blows up the eyeball.
This dungeon is actually really fast. We're almost done with the dungeon, believe it or not. It's like a minute-long dungeon.
But wait, you didn't get the dungeon item. Where's the boomerang?
That's only for boomers.
Oh.
Get it?
Oh, I get it.
Well done.
We didn't get the boss key either. Barely doing anything in this dungeon.
My goodness.
Nope.
Might as well not even be a dungeon at this point.
Might as well. So there I pulled a bomb as I opened the door, so that when Link opens the door, he doesn't turn back to look at the thorns. It just saves about like a half second. It's really not that big of a time save. But yeah, so we're skipping the boomerang and we're skipping the boss key. So we're about to do the boss key skip with this clip out of bounds. And that allows you to skip the boomerang, which is normally required to get the boss key.
This is yet another
We do an
application.
item slide.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, so we item slide, we clip out of bounds, and then I can leave to the loading zone behind the door. And there you go, boss key skip. But I
Hey.
don't have the boomerang. How am I gonna beat the boss?
Oh, no.
Very meticulously.
Wait, should I go back and get the boomerang?
Yes.
I think you're all right.
Yes, you should.
Yeah, you
Josh
should.
does not like this boss.
Dude, I don't like this
Josh
fight.
and this boss do not agree. That's because you have to cut down every single one of the vines with the grapple because we don't have the boomerang. And you have to go really fast or else they regrow. And their hitboxes are really, really wonky and you're throwing a grapple at them. It's the silliest way to beat them. But it's the only way to beat the boss without the boomerang. You can't bomb the boss. That was patched.
Yeah, failing this boss fight with grapple turns into hell very quickly because you're just going in circles around it, trying to knock down all the vines, and occasionally you miss one and you have to start all over. It's such a pain, but it saves a lot of time to not
They
get the
eventually
boomerang.
just start regrowing, and it becomes a nightmare at that point. And you also have to watch out for the big tentacles like coming after you as well. And yeah, just it's kind of hard to like really tell unless you attempt it. But these shots on these shots are very finicky. Like sometimes it'll look like it's supposed to work, and then it just doesn't. Like the hitboxes for these are just really weird. But fortunately, it looks like Alberto nailed it pretty well.
Yeah, it was a little close there. They were starting to regrow.
Yeah, you made that look too easy.
You saw there. Yeah, it was close. It was close. And then to beat the boss, I performed these jump/quick spins, is what they're called. So that's the fastest way to deal damage to any enemy in this game because and here's how I do it. So I jump slash and then I spin the stick while in midair, or you can actually spin the stick right before jump slashing. It's like a quick spin, but with the jump slash input instead of B. And that makes Link automatically spin when he reaches the ground. And that's a different type of spin attack. It actually deals 4 times regular damage. So I actually, because this boss does not take knockback, I can double hit the boss. So with 2 jump shots, quick spins, both double hitting, the boss is just, it's dead. Goodbye.
Dead plant.
It's really fast, yeah.
Easy peasy.
Yep.
Ooh, now's a
Right.
fun part of the run. Has everyone warmed up their singing voices?
Yes, because we're going into another fun part of the run. Alright, listen everyone. If you have any kind of singing emote, be ready to post them. If not, just post the letter A multiple times.
Yeah, repeatedly.
We're about
many.
to join the choir.
Yeah. Will we be taking a break after this cutscene? Do you think this would be the stopping point? You said around the
Yeah.
40-minute
I was
mark.
gonna say, yeah, whenever you want to count us down to pause the timer, we'll do so. So this would be a good time
Okay.
after the scene.
Yeah, we'll do it after the cutscene. I'll count you down. Wait, guys, it's time to sing. Come
we
on.
go.
I want your loudest singing voices. Like, wake up all your neighbors. Okay.
Don't
Here we go.
actually. It's beautiful.
Very good.
Beautiful.
I
everyone.
heard everybody. I heard you guys.
Let's go.
I heard you. All the way from my chair right here, I heard everybody singing. So
That was beautiful. That was
it was wonderful.
music
We
to
have
our
a whole
ears.
choir in chat right now. It's beautiful.
I love,
Yeah,
I
it
love
was
what
very-
I'm seeing
Yeah,
here.
I heard it. All right, so I'll count you guys down. So yeah, we're gonna take a break at this point. So I'm gonna count you guys down, and we'll go ahead and take a break. All right, so in 3, 2, 1, break.
All right, chat. For GDQ Hotfix, we do like to take wellness breaks, so this is a great time to get up, stretch, go use the bathroom, maybe get a snack, refill your drink, and we will be right back with more Wind Waker HD. Hey, all you cool cats and gamers! Welcome back to No Category Left Behind, the GDQ Hotfix show that showcases category extension speedruns. I'm your host, Nuclear Reaction, and tonight we are showcasing Wind Waker HD Hoverless, ran by Mr. Alberto. Before we get back into the run, though, I do have a few announcements. Make sure to stay tuned after this show for the Community Spotlight, which will be featuring Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. If you tune in tomorrow starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, we'll have Game Masters, followed by Time Capsule. Also, GDQ will be at PAX East 2022, April 21st to April 24th. If you're interested in submitting a run, use command PAX in Twitch chat to fill out the form. All right, so we just finished really fast. Oh gosh, why can't I think of the name of this dungeon that we just did?
Forbidden Woods.
Yeah,
We
I
just
wanted
finished
to say
singing.
Forsaken Woods, but I knew it wasn't right.
Forsaken Forbidden Fortress. Forsaken Woodtress.
Forest Faven.
That one. So for viewers that are just now joining us, Al, if you want to kind of explain what's going on, where we're going to next in the run.
Yeah, so we are doing, just if you forgot, the hoverless speedrun. That means no zombie hover. That means because zombie hovering is the only way to get to the final platform, to get to the final fight, without hookshot, we have to go and get the hookshot. And getting the hookshot requires me to enter every single dungeon. And I'll explain in a second why we have to go to every single dungeon, but we just beat the first dungeon, though. Really, it's the second dungeon, but we did it first out of order. That's the Forbidden Woods. And now we're going to go ahead and go to Dragon Roost Cavern, beat that dungeon, and get all the pearls and place them to raise Tower of the Gods. So, yep.
Previously on Alberto's run, we did quite a bit of Dragon Roost Cavern, but we couldn't finish it. I mean, we could, but we didn't. But now we are.
Yeah, I find that super interesting that it's actually faster to go back to Dragon Roost Cavern once you get the Deku leaf.
Yeah, so funny enough, in the no manual super swim category, so let's say manual super swim is not allowed. That's that trick that I did at the start. Pause, going back and forth. If that trick was not allowed and we were to go all the way through the intro, then we would have sailed to Dragon Roost before going and getting the grapple. And so because we were in the boat, that changed your save warp location to the nearest dungeon or nearest area, which is where it is for the rest of the game. So that would mean that after getting grapple, I would have save warped to the beginning of the dungeon. And then it would have been actually faster to get the boss key and then save warp from the boss key, and then go and beat the boss. So without manual super swim, getting the boss key is faster, but with the manual super swim, skipping it is faster because when I save and quit, I go back to outset. So instead I would have had to backtrack to the boss key, then backtrack from the boss key to the boss door, and all of that is slower than just coming back and skipping the boss key.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's super interesting.
And it requires the leaf. It requires the leaf to skip the
Yeah.
boss key, which we do have now. Finally, we have the leaf, so we can skip the boss key when we couldn't before.
Wild. All right. Well, Alberto, if you want to count us down and we can get back into the run.
Alrighty, in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, back to the run.
Here we go.
All right. Well, unfortunately, we were listening to Makar with his very, very nice music, but it's over. So
We'll probably see him again.
probably.
There is still music
Alright.
to be had.
Yeah.
And
All right. So we go back to Windfall because, as I mentioned, that's where we're gonna go until we get in the boat. We haven't gotten in the boat yet.
And it does seem like a lot of backtracking to go all the way back to Dragon Roost Cavern, but you can see that with item sliding, it really doesn't take all that long to cross a significant chunk of the ocean and then get from the beginning of Dragon Roost Island all the way back to the dungeon. It's pretty quick.
Yeah, doing this is definitely better than the alternative, as Ala described a couple of minutes ago. But you get to see some of this item sliding movement in Dragon Roost Cavern, which you didn't really get to see before because we didn't have the grappling hook yet. And before, on the way to the grappling hook, he also opened the gold pod that leads to the boss room. So you can just go ahead and immediately head on into where the boss door is.
Still doesn't have the boss
We're
key.
gonna skip the boss key.
Yeah, it's gonna be a
Yep.
different boss key skip from what we saw in Forbidden Woods. Instead of instead of using an item slide to clip out of bounds, he's gonna do one of those frame perfect roll clips. So he's gonna do a position setup, then clip out and leaf over to the boss area behind the door, which very conveniently allows you to enter the boss fight without opening the door.
And
And that is why we needed Leaf.
Yeah. Leaf is very powerful for skipping boss keys. I think it's used to skip every boss key skip that we do requires the leaf.
Sounds about right,
And-
yeah.
Didn't we decide there aren't any boss keys? You don't get any boss keys in this category.
Nope. Don't get any boss keys in this run,
Not in
yeah.
this category. Yeah, so I guess it's worth mentioning that it doesn't really apply to this category, but I believe the only two dungeons that don't have boss key skips are Tower of the Gods and Wind Temple. However, it doesn't really matter for Tower of
we
the
don't beat
Gods
them.
because we can't even get to the boss door without the boss key anyway, so. But
Here I'm looking at the ground. Oh, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, but fortunately we are not finishing either Tower of the Gods or Wind Temple conveniently, so there you go.
Yeah, it's because this is not all dungeons. It's hoverless. You don't have to beat the dungeons, so
Yeah, we're just doing what we need to do to get the hook shot, to
just get the hook shot
doing
as
the
fast as
hover.
possible.
Also, Al,
But
why were
looking
you
at the
looking at the ground?
He just likes
It's
the
because
ground.
I just like the ground. No, there's an actual reason. It's because whenever Goma pushes the rock, the lava rock, I guess you can call it, up to the ceiling, it creates a bunch of particle effects. And that lags the game quite a bit if they're on screen. So I keep them off screen to keep the game running at a smoother frame rate. Saves time.
This is not the case on the GameCube version. Funny enough.
But I did hear on the GameCube version you could get storage, and you can't do that in the HD version, right? No storage, is there?
Are you sure about that?
I don't know, Beast. I guess we're about to find out whether storage is in this game or not.
Well, wait a minute.
Also,
Whee! Look at him go!
Alberta just chilling out up there.
Just chilling. So what I did was on the final hit. Oh, also nice swing, Link.
We.
He just took a swing into the lava. I grappled Goma while the bomb exploded, and because I was grappling, the camera couldn't pan to start the cutscene. And so that allows me to keep control during the cutscene, and I can move to the center so that as soon as the warp spawns, I can enter the warp. And look, I triggered it twice, not once, but twice. Whoa, just triggered it again,
man.
whoa. That's because when the cutscene ends, it gives me storage. It returns me to the playable state, and that will make the warp play again, because it kind of interrupts the warp. But so this trick known as storage that we've been talking about, that is a GameCube exclusive glitch in that the way to get storage with a Windmaker dodge, so you pull Windmaker and then you fall and then you cancel Windmaker right as you hit the ground. We're not going to see that at all in this game because it was patched. That was one of the major changes that Nintendo made. That is one of the biggest differences between this speedrun and the GameCube version. Plus, the GameCube version doesn't have item sliding because they can't move around in first person. So those are the biggest changes. And pause storage does not work on GameCube because they can't switch controllers between Pro Controller and Gamepad.
It's so crazy that the method of getting super swims on the GameCube version was patched, but then a totally different method was found for HD.
Yeah,
Very
so
convenient.
with storage, you could pull the Windmaker and keep control, and that will lock the camera, and then you can just hold up, and Link will just keep turning around and gain speed.
Yeah, it really impresses me, honestly, how, like, if you take, like, any percent, for example, in both games, like, they both function relatively the same. Like, they kind of go on, like, the same path, but the tricks they do to go on that same path are done in completely different ways. Like, it's really interesting to see, like, these exclusive things in both games just so happen to work for each game. So it's like, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, in terms of story progression, Al has 2 of the pearls that he needs to get to raise Tower of the Gods. He is going to get the 3rd one pretty soon. But he's going to be starting to place these pearls on the Triangle Islands. And as he mentioned before, he's doing these super swims in Endless Night, this rainy and dark period. And it's really like trying to find a needle in a haystack, trying to find these tiny Triangle Islands in the whole ocean. It's not like he said before, he doesn't have a map. It's not like there are beacons showing you where the islands are. He just has to know. So
Yeah, these are among the hardest swims in the game. They are hands down, like, among the hardest. Because you literally can't see anything half the time.
Yeah, sometimes you have to rely on lightning striking in the background, and that actually kind of illuminates the ocean around you, so you can see some of the islands a bit better. But obviously, you have to look really quickly, because then the lightning's going to go away.
And unfortunately, there's no way for Al to get a super swim off of a Triangle Island. There just isn't a place for it. So he save warped after that first one, and then the second one, he's going to do something a little bit more interesting to get off of. But first, he needs to make a pit stop at Outset. I mentioned before that save flags are still not fixed, and he needs to get in the boat here, or bring the boat here rather, so that when he voids later, he'll be brought back to Outset.
Link being in the boat in that cutscene does not count as Alberto being in the boat
Right.
quite yet. Just to keep in mind.
Yeah, and
However,
he was.
do keep that in mind though.
Because we saw him in the boat in a cutscene earlier too, before password skip.
That's probably the hardest Endless Night Super Swim, by the way, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
I hear a metronome.
Oh.
A metronome? Is this a tool-assisted speedrun?
Alright.
And
I gotta time this, so give me a second. Hey, there we go. Nice.
nice. Why'd you use a metronome, Al? Why'd you need that?
So that item slide, because I cannot swim off of that island, I had to perform something called an island hop. So instead of lowering myself into the water, which I can't because there's no slope leading into the water with a wall against it that I can charge against. So instead, I had to charge the correct amount of speed to travel from that island to outside the map in one frame. Now, if I charge too wet speed, the game would crash. So I use the metronome to time my speed because every frame, my speed is getting multiplied by 1.2. So you can imagine 2 frames later, your speed can be way, way, way higher just from 2 additional frames of charging. That'd be like twice your speed, which means you go about twice the distance. So I need to, on the correct frame, it's actually kind of lenient. I need to get to the correct speed before pressing target, and that flings me to the left with all of my speed, and I travel for 1 frame. So because I voided out, that puts me in the boat. And funny enough, this cutscene is so difficult to trigger. There's actually a way you can clip into this loading zone, and you can access this loading zone really early. It's a very easy clip. But the problem is that this cutscene won't play unless you've actually bombed the wall. If you clip into the loading zone, there'll be no cutscene. The only way to trigger this cutscene is to bomb the wall, and bombing the wall is pretty much only viable currently from the boat. So I need to be in the boat to also bomb the wall. And so now that I'm in the boat, remember that I was save warping back to outset every single time. I was going back to outset. Now when I save and quit, because I've been in the boat, I've finally triggered that final flag for fixing my save warp flags, which basically means that my save warp flags will be the normal save warp flags, meaning instead of just going to a default area, such as outset or windfall, I'll be going to the nearest area I was at. Or if I'm on the overworld, I'll go to the boat, wherever the boat was, if I'm in the ocean. So...
This
now
finally,
everything is normal in that regard.
Yep.
this finishes Endless Night 2, so the next Super Swim Aldos will be a lot easier to see in.
Yes. Finally, no more endless night swims. Those are so difficult to see. It's very, very... You really just gotta go in a direction and just hope. And I have the whole ocean memorized, so I know exactly where every single island on the entire map is. All 49 quadrants, I know where they are. Hey, don't quiz me.
Alright, Al, where is, C5?
Oh my goodness.
You sank my battleship.
Okay. C5. Okay. Okay, you know what? Can I look at a map?
No.
C5. Hold on. Let me think. C is the third. Okay, it's gonna be Windfall, isn't it? Wait. Is it Windfall?
No,
it's Dragoners. No, it's Dragoners. No, is it Dragoners?
No, it's not Dragoners, no.
Oh no, I'm close though, aren't I?
You're close, you're close.
Is it Fire Mountain?
No, but you're really close.
The Triangle Island? Starbelt?
No, you're getting close.
Doing this by coordinates seems way tougher.
Yeah, like, there's a difference between...
Paw Print?
No, but you're close.
Tower of the Gods?
No, a little bit north.
Northern Triangle?
Well,
All right, we've named 48 islands so far.
we have gone a full circle around this island.
I can't look at a map. That's cheating. It's cheating. You said it's not far. No, it's not. Is it Thorn Ferry?
No,
No,
but...
that's too far. That's way too far.
He has the entire ocean memorized.
Is it Eastern Ferry?
Yes, it is.
Eastern Ferry. Ding, ding,
Hey.
ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
It is actually worth... Okay, so it's actually worth mentioning that knowing the coordinates of the islands versus knowing where to go with super swimming is actually very different.
Yeah.
Though in Al's defense, I can understand why that was pretty difficult, because when I first started running this game, at least, like, I knew where all the islands were because I played this game a lot as a casual. But then, like, actually trying to super swim to them was a very different story.
Yeah, I mean, super swimming, I'd be like, oh yeah, it's the island with like the pointy thing. There, that island.
Exactly.
Get used to visual cues.
you kind of use different islands as reference. So like actually looking at it from top down, yeah, no, that makes it a lot harder.
Now this is any percent hoverless. Why are we going into Tower of the Gods?
For like 2 items. Really 1 item that's mandatory, and that's it.
Yeah, not even gonna finish it.
Nope. We actually, so in order to get into Tower of the Gods, because we can't wrong warp in this game, the only way in to spawn Tower of the Gods is by getting all 3 pearls, which requires bring Jaboon and beating the first 2 dungeons. And then you have to place them and watch this cutscene. But I only need like 2 things in Tower of the Gods, and I'm gonna skedaddle. Because in order to beat the Wind Temple and the Earth Temple, well, not beat, but to go through those dungeons with Makar or Medley, you need the command melody. So, to skip, I actually can skip this first floor by performing a ledge clip. So let's see that in a second. So I just got the bomb to push me out of bounds while I'm hanging on the ledge. And that allows me to get behind the waterfall and skip completing the entire first floor. So that's a very big sequence break.
Fun fact, the first floor is so irrelevant that we even skip it in glitchless. Now, granted, to be clear, we don't actually use that method in glitchless. It's a different method, but still.
Yeah, is there a category that does the first floor?
No, I don't think so. Not that I can think of at least. Not on the main.
That rat pushing me. I'm gonna do the tiniest item slide in the world.
So
right
short.
here.
Save some
But
time.
it's faster than rolling,
Yeah.
so. Small movement optimization.
And then this dungeon is pretty linear. To get the command melody, Al's going to have to bring a statue back from over this way. Fortunately, he doesn't really do it the intended way. He doesn't need to lure this statue around the maze with him. He'll just clip it through and carry it over.
Now this clip
fun fact, there's this thing, it's called Jack Clip, because it was found by a guy named Jack.
Very
Thanks, Jack.
enriching history here.
Yeah, I crawled and then picked up the statue very, very quickly. And that allows me to pick up something that's below the ground, because when I'm crawling, in that small window when I'm crawling and standing up, Link's hitbox is closer to the ground so that I can pick things up that are a lot lower. That allows me to pick up the statue from below the ground, and then I can just jump over to the door from there, skipping having to call the statue from below that rainbow platform, wherever you'd call it.
The Jack Rainbow.
That's Jack Rainbow. So here we're getting the command melody. This is the only unskippable thing that we have in Tower of the Gods. If we could skip command melody, we would be able to skip the first 2 dungeons, because they're required in order to get the pearls to get into Tower of the Gods.
But command melody is just so useful for planting trees that we can't do anything about it.
Well, you gotta plant the trees, dude.
Yep.
Like, you can't forget about the trees.
Good for the earth.
Yeah, we get the command melody in order to use medley in one room and plant 3 trees.
In Wind Temple.
In Wind Temple. Here we're gonna get the bow in a different way. Normally you're supposed to get a statue and bring it to this door. Bring it onto a switch. But I'm gonna clip into the door instead, because it's locked. Try that again. There we go. This setup was actually only recently found.
Yeah, this
with
was
me and
like,
Joash.
Yeah, Alberta and I were having like a practice session, and we ended up finding this setup. So
yeah,
this is quite literally fresh out of the oven.
Yeah, this was found like a few days ago. That setup. But yeah, so because I don't need to beat the dungeon, I don't need to get that statue. So it's faster to use that to get bow earlier.
And Al's going to fight this Dark Nut in a kind of strange way. He's going to attack the armor a lot before removing it. And in doing that, he's dealing a lot of damage to the Dark Nut so that he can kill it immediately after the armor is taken off. If you damage the armor enough that it gets removed... how do you say this?
It gets reset.
Yeah.
His damage gets reset if you break it.
Yeah, if you break it,
his
there
armor.
you go.
Right.
Then
breaking
the second phase would have taken
like
quite a bit
hitting the
longer.
back.
Yeah, but if I just remove it, it doesn't reset his damage, and then he's just gone in one spin.
Yeah. And that's Tower of the Gods. I was not going to finish this one.
Nope, not gonna finish it.
No need to.
Instead, we're just gonna sail away. Very slowly.
Yeah, this is the most sailing that you see in the run, isn't it?
Yeah, we can't swim off of Tower of the Gods because there is no slope leading into the water. So instead, we have to go to the nearest island by sailing. And so Bomb Island is the island that we have to go to. I can't even change the wind direction. So very luckily, this island exists in the default wind direction, which is east that you start with. And we're going to keep east wind direction. I never got Wind's Requiem, so. But this is the only, I think this is the only sailing section in the run, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is the, well, we'll do like little, like 2 second sailing.
Other than the sailing for Neighbor's Pearl. And I guess you sail kind of. Well, actually, no. No, I take it back. I take it back. That's a different category. Don't mind me.
Yeah. So you're supposed to get Master Sword from beating Tower of the Gods by going down to Hyrule after ringing the bell, and then you're supposed to come back up and then sail to to Forsaken Fortress. Nintendo prevents you from doing this early by making it so that if you try to sail to Forsaken Fortress without the Master Sword, the boat turns you back. But we can super swim there to get around it, and then we can get there early.
We'll get the Master Sword.
That's what we're gonna do.
And we'll get the Master Sword once we get there through some very strange means.
We are gonna get the Master Sword, but not from pulling it in Hyrule.
Yeah.
But yeah, from a meme. And I am using Pro Controller.
And what that
I'm
means.
not using the gamepad.
Just watch and see
You can
how
swim
we
up
get it.
Here.
That's all I'm gonna say is that just watch and see.
Yeah. Like my.
Oh,
Oh.
it's just like loaded beneath my feet. Hello, Tingle.
Hello.
Gotta pay him a visit every now and again.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. So that's one thing that can happen if you hit an island. That one I cannot super swim off of. If you hit an island and then fall into the water, it kills all your speed. And that island I cannot swim off of, so I have to save it back to Bomb Island. But luckily, I mean, it's pretty quick to retry, so. Let's not hit Tingle this time. There we go. This is another quadrant we'll have to be very careful when I enter to enter slowly enough so the water loads, or else I'll sploosh.
Oh, hey, it's daytime.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, hey,
Hey,
daytime,
a nice,
nice.
beautiful day. I hope it doesn't
Yep.
go by too quickly. It's
have a lot
nice
of fun
and beautiful
today.
outside.
Nope, it's nighttime
Oh,
again.
Wait, what?
No.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Uh-oh.
It was my day off today.
So I'm not going to be beating Phantom Ganon. I do need the Skull Hammer, but I can't beat him yet. So I have to avoid the trigger, which extends all the way up. Because if I trigger Phantom Ganon, it'll warp me down and start the fight.
And
So that's why I take this weird route.
and the reason he can't beat Phantom Ganon is because he doesn't have the Master Sword. You can only deflect the balls of light that Phantom Ganon shoots with the Master Sword. So Al's doing, you noticed Al did some different movement here, because again, Forsaken Fortress 2 and Forsaken Fortress 1 are not the same map, and also he has a sword now, which allows him to do some different stuff with item slides. This door clip is essentially achieving the same purpose that the first door clip did, but you'll see he's doing it in a slightly different way because of the different geometry. But he is about to enter pause storage and skip this impending cutscene so that he can enter the Helmarok fight straight away.
Yep. And so by saving and quitting during this cutscene, I have already started the cutscene. So when I save and quit, I re-enter the area, and I've already watched the cutscene, so it won't play it this time.
Oh, and Al's going into hero mode here for a particularly special purpose. It's mostly to make a certain setup for another trick we're going to do here pretty soon. More consistent, but more on that when we get there. Just know the
Yeah, we'll get there.
just know.
Wait,
that-
aren't I supposed to fight Helmarok?
Nah, it's fine. Let the bird
Oh.
live.
Yeah, let the bird live.
but Helmarok
It has enough
who?
trouble around Thanksgiving.
Poor turkey. Oh, sorry about that. That's my phone. Let me silence it.
Yeah, so I'll just clipped
Okay.
out of bounds there casually. Oh, wait a minute. In this cutscene, hold on. What's that sword you're holding?
Wait,
What are those
also
clothes?
Link's wearing
What are
green?
those clothes?
Oh my goodness. So this cutscene is one of several cutscenes where Link has to hold his sword and his shield in his hand during the cutscene. And so normally you don't notice this because in a casual playthrough you already have the green tunic, the hero's shield, and the master sword. But the game really needs Link to have those. He needs to have the master sword and the hero's shield in his hand. So the game just equipped them. So in the speedrun, I was able to just get these items because of the fact that the game always gives me these items. So this is known as the early master sword. That's how, or EMS in this game. And so we're gonna have that for the rest of the game. But we don't keep the green tunic, and I don't think anybody knows why. I have no idea why Link is wearing the green tunic in this cutscene, but we will be wearing the blue tunic, because we never got the green tunic. We don't keep it. I have no idea why, but you know what? It's better to beat the game in our pajamas anyway, isn't it?
For sure.
Yeah, it's only this cutscene for some odd reason. Also, remember before when I said that to watch and see for when we get the Master Sword? I meant that literally. You watch and see, and you get the Master Sword.
You watch and see, yep. Watch the cutscene.
Also, who's this character that Ganon is holding up? Have we met her?
I don't believe we have.
Never seen her in my life.
Well, I'm sure she doesn't have a secret identity or anything.
No.
Nah.
And even if she did, we probably wouldn't learn about it in a cutscene.
Yeah, or in an Italian cutscene either. I wouldn't even know. I don't know what's going on, dude. The whole game's in Italian. Like,
It's pretty crazy. An Aryan cutscene with a bunch of characters we've never met.
in Italian, dude. Like, I don't speak Italian.
Not to mention, this is like the only cutscene we've ever watched. I mean, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, we skipped all the other cutscenes, so I actually don't know what's going on in this game. Someone refresh my memory.
Yeah, I got nothing.
And there's that. Well, there is that dragon that we saved. I do remember him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Used his tail
I
earlier.
remember him. Yeah.
And now he's saving us.
Yep.
So now it's time to finally go to Hyrule. We skipped going.
Yep, we're going to Hyrule.
Skipped going there the first time to get the Master Sword because we were able to get it through different means. But now we're going to go down there and listen to some cool music on the way down. And down there are some important things to do. Gonna get the light arrows, which will be very useful because that also will give us the other arrow upgrades, the ice and fire arrows, without having to go to Mother and Child. And we'll also open the Dark Portal, which is super important because it allows us to get back down to Hyrule later really quickly.
Yeah.
Oh.
We have to go down to Hyrule.
There's another important one.
Yeah, we have to. Because we have to watch the cutscene. Well, I guess it's the spoiler cutscene, so I shouldn't say it, but we're not going to watch the cutscene because we're going to skip it with pause storage. So no spoilers this run, don't worry.
Yeah.
It's not about anybody's secret identity
Nope.
or anything. Don't worry about that. Or this person's secret identity. There's no way they have a secret identity. And there's no way the boat has a secret identity either.
Nah.
That's impossible.
Nah, this game, nah. Why would they do that?
Yeah. Also, Hyrule is in, well, you could say black and white, but in the HD version, they didn't make it black and white. It's really just faded. But because we haven't pulled the Master Sword, because we skipped the first Hyrule trip, this is the textures, before you pull the Master Sword textures.
That'd be
So I'm gonna go in the castle. Yeah. All right, we're gonna go in the castle, but we're gonna go from the backside with that clip to get to the backside. That's because there's a cutscene when you first enter, but only from the front side. So we can enter from the back to skip that.
And let me tell you, that cutscene is long. So yeah.
Now Al is going to do a clip to get down into the Master Sword chamber. And this is where a very spoiler-heavy cutscene is supposed to take place. The cutscene is kind of strange, though, because it's triggered by entering the door that he just entered from the back from the front. So what he's going to do now is get pause storage, entering this this doorway, and then it's automatically going to hit the cutscene trigger, and then bring him back through the doorway to start the cutscene. Then he can save warp out using the pause storage.
Yeah. That's a very, very long cutscene we just skipped.
Long.
So now the boat's telling me to pull the Master Sword. I'm not gonna do it because that would crash my game. So let's not do that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks, boat, for telling me to crash my game.
Yay.
Helpful boat.
Yeah, these cutscene skips really made a lot of the routes flow just so much better. Because, like, in all dungeons in this category, especially, like, there would just be this middle part with, like, all these cutscenes you have to go through, like, one after the other. But now it's not so much the case anymore.
Al, why'd you come out to the barrier? You don't have the Triforce yet.
Oh, wait. Why am I going to the final dungeon? I thought I'm supposed to beat all the dungeons
Wait a minute.
first.
Al, you don't have the hook shot. What are you doing?
Uh-oh. Wait.
Alberto.
Detour.
Oh, yeah, also the
Yeah, so
iconic
that-
barrier skip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that trick was skipped a lot. Well, in the any percent category, we would go beat the game right now. This is when we would beat the game in the any percent category. But this is not any percent. This is no zombie hover. So I can't zombie hover. Therefore, I need to go get the hook shot before I can beat the game. We are going to get past these trials with a clip here.
Yeah, this saves a whole lot of time.
Yeah, I can't even beat these trials. Also, swag backwards flying.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. There we go.
Also, here's some more swag right here. Boom.
Hey.
Didn't even open the door.
Through the door.
That is also fresh out of the oven. Found by Awabi, I believe it was.
Wasn't that already in SD?
It was. Awabi found. He's really the first to start implementing it. So.
It is time for some gaming.
We didn't actually do the sidle part where we clip into the door like that because just item sliding up and opening the door was faster.
Yeah.
Pulling out the bomb and then pulling out your sword would essentially just even it out. But the way that Al did it there is that he kept his sword and shield unequipped so that he can immediately start sidling and clip into the door, which is faster than just pressing A to open the door.
And that went by so quickly we didn't even get to talk about it while it was happening, but Al just opened the dark portal. That's really hard. There's a puzzle there that you're supposed to hit the 4 crystals in a specified order that the game pretty much tells you. And you're supposed to use the boomerang to do it so that you have enough time to hit all of them within the time limit, but Al didn't get the boomerang, so he had to do it with arrows, just manually aiming. And it's hard. You got that first try. It's really good.
Yeah, that was
really... you have motion control aiming in this game, which makes aiming quite a bit easier.
And then the Phantom Ganon puzzle that Al is navigating now is exactly the same every time. So he just had to memorize the path. And now he'll get the light arrows, which, as I mentioned earlier, will also give him the ice and fire arrows, which will be useful for getting into the remaining 2 dungeons.
It may look weird that I opened the dark portal and then went back and got the light arrows. That's because it's actually faster to do that, because if I had gone and gotten the light arrows before opening dark portal, there would have been a cutscene that would have played twice on that room and then on opening the dark portal, telling me how to open the dark portal. But if you simply go to the dark portal first, that cutscene doesn't play. So we need the light arrows because we're going to be going into the puppet room. But Alberto, I thought you said you're not beating the game.
Well, it's pretty useful to go
I thought you said you're getting the hook shot first. What are you doing?
Somehow it's still pretty useful to go enter the Phantom Ganon fight anyway.
Yeah, it is. So we're gonna head up the grand staircase, go into the Phantom Ganon room, and then we'll head back. That's because we're interested in watching the Phantom Ganon cutscene. The cutscene is very interesting because it's going to equip more items. So before, I got the Hero's Shield and the Master Sword from watching a cutscene. We're going to get more items from watching this next cutscene. So that's why we want to watch it. And it's very, very useful.
I was
Although
using
we're
the
going to
term
be doing
watch.
a little less watching and seeing and more skipping. But the point is that we at least start the cutscene so that we act as if we watch it. Well, we don't act as if we watch it. We do watch it, but we don't watch the entire thing.
And as usual,
I somehow survived.
I was gonna have to get behind the door instead of just opening it. Oh no, that guy.
Oh, hello.
He lived.
So
yeah,
he intentionally...
so that whole thing with hero mode here and damaging down, that's to make this particular clip more consistent. Otherwise, there's a chance he wouldn't be able to clip.
Yep, and now I'll just side hop and time his options press so that he can land while opening the options menu and get pause storage behind this door.
You can't really see it, but Link is holding the Mirror Shield and the fully charged Master Sword right now. Which means that I got those items. And that's why I watched that cutscene. Well, watched as in skipped with pause storage by save warping. And now we can leave. So now I have the Mirror Shield and the fully charged Master Sword.
Those will be pretty useful.
Yep. Again, the reason I opened Dark Portal and go, a really, really big reason is that after you go down to Hyrule, you're supposed to get the Triforce to enter Hyrule again to go beat the game. But the dark portal stays open for the rest of time. So I can open this shortcut and then use it to go back to Hyrule to skip getting the Triforce. And that right there is also why I got the sail, a big reason, because I couldn't get in the boat there if I hadn't gotten the sail. And so here, now we're back at Forsaken Fortress, but this is kind of funny. I thought Baloo burned it down. Like, what happened?
Not quite, it seems.
I guess not. Oh, there's a really cool one cycle I can do right here. If I get good RNG, I need a ground spawn, and we can get a one cycle here. Oh, there it is.
Hey.
Nice.
There it is, one cycle.
Nice.
If you get a ground spawn, you can beat him in one cycle by just repetitively jump slash quick spinning. That was found by Joash very, very recently. It's really cool to see new discoveries happen all the time. I do need Skullhammer. So if you come back here without going through the normal warp that takes you to Tower of the Gods, because we avoided the Tower of the Gods quadrant, that's a trigger. After you watch the cutscene, that spoiler cutscene in Hyrule, Tetra to Zelda, I'm just gonna say it, sorry.
What? Oh my goodness, she's Zelda?
Sorry.
What?
I'm sorry!
Oh.
I'm sorry, I warned you! Cover your ears! Oh wait, it's too late. We come back and we go through the dark portal to skip going through the Tower of the Gods quadrant after going to Hyrule, which keeps Forsaken Fortress in this state until I go through the Tower of the Gods quadrant, which I will be doing soon.
And now it's time to get ready for the latter half dungeons. Al, again, the point here is to get the hook shot, which is in the Wind Temple. And to get there, Al's going to have to beat the Earth Temple. And to open up these two dungeons, what you're supposed to need are the Iron Boots and the Power Bracelets for Wind Temple. Well, for getting Wind God's Aria and Earth God's Lyric, respectively. Al isn't actually going to need both of those because of item sliding being very convenient. But he will need the Power Bracelets. So he's going to get those now from Fire Mountain. And wait a minute, where'd you get the ice arrows? Oh yeah, got them with the light arrows. A bargain.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Package deal.
Yeah. Instead of going to Mother and Child to get the elementals, because we got the light arrows, it gave us the elementals.
Which is super convenient because he can't even go to Mother and Child because he didn't get Ballad of Gales.
Nope. We don't even get Ballad of Gales at all.
Yeah, it essentially treats like the three different ways you get the bow as like three separate items. So like the bow is a separate item, fire and ice is a separate item, and then light arrows, which comes packed with fire and ice, is its own item as well.
Here, I can do a clip to get through the wall to get to the other side, which skips having to do the area normally, where you have to jump around a bunch of platforms. And here, because I have light arrows, I can just light arrow these enemies, and it one-hits them. Though it takes time for the light arrows to re-knock, I guess you call it. Also, I didn't have enough magic for a second light arrow, but I usually just like to parry the second one. So
I think he also dies quicker when you parry him.
I think so. Yeah, yeah. Like you don't have to watch the long cutscene of him getting dissolved into oblivion. So we're gonna save and quit to leave this area faster, and then when we get to the outside area, we're going to perform another island hop. So I need to get enough speed to reach the Dragoner's Island in one frame.
And this is just because there isn't a convenient super swim spot on this island.
Yeah, there's no slope that leads into the water. So when you charge against that wall, ooh, nice island hop. It'll make you clip to Forsaken Fortress when you have the correct speed to reach it in one frame. So there's actually a setup for it. If I were too far away from the island, I could save warp to the island. That's another very specific thing that works only at Forsaken. Did I say Forsaken Fortress? I meant to say Dragoner's. Sorry.
Getting the coordinates all confused again. No.
Yeah, I got mixing up the things. So there I swam through Tower of the Gods because the trigger, as I mentioned, for not only Forsaken Fortress to switch, but also Medley to spawn, is going through that island. Alright, pause storage here.
Prepare your options menus.
And this is to skip the cutscenes of getting the song. Well, currently to skip the cutscene of getting Earth God's Lyric. Later, when God's Aria, same thing will happen. And I think you only ever use these songs one time each, right? Just entering the dungeon? Or I guess, no, getting the Makar and Medley as well.
Yeah, you have to teach them to Makar and Medley
Right.
in order to in order to enter the dungeon with them.
But do you end up playing at any of the songstones in the dungeons?
Nope.
No,
Yeah,
Nope.
didn't think so.
not anymore.
Uh-oh, there's a bomb!
Oh no! Watch out! Oh no! Oh, thank goodness you got away from that. And same deal here, getting the song through pause storage.
Yep. I used my super swim speed to push past the wing, which skips getting iron boots.
Yeah, that's one.
Which is an item we're gonna see none at all in this speed run. We're gonna completely skip the iron boots. And that's one of the ways we skip getting it, is with item slide speed to get past the wing, so we can just jump slash it with the skull hammer.
Also, just want to note we are at the hour 20 mark. So whenever there's a good spot for you to take another break, just let me know.
Yeah, why don't we take it all the way to Earth Temple, and then we'll stop right when we enter Earth. Oh, we can do it after Medley. We can do it after this cutscene skip. It's up to you. We can do, I don't know. Let's enter Earth Temple, and then we'll stop right before we play the song. How about that?
Sounds good. Just go ahead and count us down when to pause.
Okay.
That'll still be a couple of minutes.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So now to enter Earth and Wind Temple, Al is going to need to go get Medley and Makar. And he's coming to get Medley right now. There is a long cutscene that plays after you've played the song for Medley and she awakens as a sage. And I was going to skip that with some more pause storage. This is another example of pause storage that requires a lot of very tough blind movement. He's going to need to use the grapple to grapple across a gap to Medley without being able to see at all, plus a little bit of ladder climbing and ledge climbing.
Alright, so much like with the leaf, we're going to do a lot of blind movement here. Alberto, to kind of give you an idea of what he's going to do here, he's going to do some side hops in order to get into a certain position to then turn to his right and climb up one of the railings. And he's going to side hop again to be perfectly lined up with the grapple thing to swing off of it. Then he's going to swing to the other side. He's going to do a few more side hops to the left and then climb the ledge and then get over to the ladder that's straight ahead of him. And then conveniently from the ladder, he can just run straight to Medley.
Yeah, lots of crazy blind movement required for pause doors.
And now he's talking to Medley. Just to let you guys know what's going on since we can't see, but he is talking to Medley now. And now he's playing the song.
All right, and then switch controllers, that pauses the game, and then I can save and quit and skip the cutscene. All right, and then we'll go enter Earth Temple, and then we'll take a break. So now you're supposed to sail to Earth Temple, but that's slow, so we're just gonna super swim there.
It's all right. The boat and Medley will probably find us.
Yeah, luckily there's a cutscene that spawns you to enter the dungeon right here. You just have to hit the trigger.
As you can see, this boat does not need a sail.
Yeah.
Alright. So as we go into the break, just keep in mind, everyone, that we're about to enter one of the craziest dungeons in this run. So you definitely do not want to miss this after the break. This is something you will definitely want to see. This is probably the hardest dungeon in the run. So I hope you guys are ready, because it's going to be a blast.
Yep. Let's break here. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, and break.
All right, everyone, we on Hotfix like to take wellness breaks, so make sure you get up, stretch, maybe grab a snack, use the bathroom, fill up your drink, and make sure you be back here because, as we were just told, The run is just gonna get more and more wild from here. So you don't want to miss out. I know there's gonna be a lot of great skips coming up here, a lot of difficult tricks, and you don't want to miss it. So stay tuned. Hey, all you cool cats and gamers! Welcome back to No Category Left Behind, the GDQ hotfix show that showcases category extension speedruns. I'm your host, Nuclear Reaction, and tonight we are showcasing Wind Waker HD Hoverless, run by Mr. Alberto. Before we get back into the run and get started on the most difficult dungeon coming up here, I do have a few announcements. Games Done Quick will be at PAX East 2022, April 21st to April 24th. If you're interested in submitting a run, use command PAX in Twitch chat and fill out the form. So if you're watching on YouTube, go to twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick if you're interested in looking at our live content, starting weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. Your subs, gift subs, Prime Gaming subs, and bits help support weekly hotfix content. Please consider supporting our daily content if you enjoy these hotfix shows. All right, Mr. Alberto, do you want to just give us a recap for those who may just be now joining us? Where are we? What's coming up? What is this run?
No, okay, so this is for people who are just joining in right now and they're like, what's going on? All right, so here's the details. This is the Wind Waker HD hoverless category. By hoverless, we mean beat the game as fast as possible, but zombie hovering, a trick you use to gain height by dying and then mashing B a bunch of times to gain height, and Link just jump slashing a little bit. Yep. That is banned. We can't do that at all. And that is a very significant trick done in the any percent category to skip not only beating Puppaganon, but also it is used. The only mandatory usage, the big one, is the Morph Hover, which is used to reach that final platform to Ganondorf without the hookshot. Because without the hookshot, there is no other way to reach that platform besides performing the zombie hovering glitch. And so because that is banned, we have to get the hookshot. And so this is basically get the hookshot as fast as possible and then beat the game. So to get the hookshot, I need to be entering every single dungeon, because it turns out the hookshot, which is located in the very last dungeon, the Wind Temple, requires you to have gone to every single dungeon first, so we don't have to beat all of them. So what have we done so far? We beat the Dragon Roost Cavern and the Forbidden Woods dungeon, and we beat those because we wanted the pearls, the Ferrar's Pearl and the Din's Pearl, and we also freed Jaboon from his cave at outset, and then we placed those pearls in their Triangle Islands in order to raise the Tower of the Gods. Then we didn't actually beat the Tower of the Gods. We only went to Tower of the Gods to get the Command Melody and the bow. And then we left. And then we went down to Hyrule and watched the Tetra to Zelda cutscene. Spoiler alert, sorry. That is important for spawning Medley in order to enter Earth Temple later. And then before we went back up from Hyrule, we did a couple of things in Ganon's Tower that'll speed things up later, such as getting the light arrows, which is very powerful and gives us all the elementals. We opened the Dark Portal, which is a shortcut that will be used to take later to go back down to Hyrule after we have the hookshot. And we watched the Puppaganon cutscene, which gave me the Mirror Shield and the fully charged Master Sword. So I already have those items, and that's going to be very important because I'm about to do Earth Temple right now. So I learned a couple of songs, I got the power bracelets, and now I'm about to enter Earth Temple. And so there's a couple things that's about to happen. So one, I already have the Mirror Shield. That means that because I already have it, I don't have to get it from the dungeon. And there's one usage of Mirror Shield that you cannot skip in the dungeon, for one. Two, we're going to be performing a very hard route known as the Medley skip route. This is probably one of the hardest tricks in the game. This is the hardest dungeon by far. That is because in order to skip using Medley, we have to perform a bunch of frame-perfect roll clips to get out of bounds to skip past the rooms that we're supposed to bring Medley to. So this is supposed to be a giant escort mission. And so we're supposed to play the song with Medley to break a bunch of stones. And we're supposed to do all this mirror shining with Medley. And so we're going to skip all of that by just flipping past every single room. And the clips, some of them are harder than others, but there's a lot of them. And magic is really tight as well. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm excited. You have been absolutely gaming out of your mind tonight, Al. So I'm expecting this. I can't wait. So whenever you
I'm excited.
I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to commentator curse it. But whenever you're ready to count us down, and let's get started.
All right, hardest dungeon. Here we go. All right, I'm ready. All right. In 3, 2, 1, go. All right, Earth Temple. Here we go. Here we go. Hardest dungeon.
This part isn't the hard
Get
part.
hyped, everyone.
Oh yeah, this is the easy part. We're just watching a cutscene. Dun, 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 dun. They were supposed to do this to break a bunch of stones in Earth Temple, but we're only going to do it for this one. And Medley, so if you have ever watched the GameCube version speedrun, the All Dungeon speedrun, you will know that All Dungeons has been able to find a way to get into Earth Temple early and skip Medley throughout the entire dungeon. Unfortunately, for humans, there is a TAS viable way for a computer to possibly do it, but right now, it's not humanly viable, so we have to get Medley through the first room before skipping her for the last. So here, I just called Medley and then item slid across the room and opened the door very quickly, and she just kind of like teleported through the door.
He's very talented like that.
So that's because, yeah, this is an HD exclusive feature where if you call an enemy and they're still, not an enemy, Makar or Medley, if you call them and then very quickly go to the door, if they're still following you, they'll go through the door with you. And it looks like Nintendo probably should have tested it a little bit more because it's very, very broken. And you can use it to get them places that you're normally not supposed to get by item sliding. All right, so we're gonna leave Medley and do the rest of the dungeon without her.
Bye, Medley.
Bye,
Bye, Medley.
If you know this dungeon well, you know that you're supposed to need Medley in pretty much every room. In fact, in this one, you'd normally need her to stand in that shaft of light in order to shine some light on these purple chews. But because Al has the light arrows, and I mean, he could do this with the mirror shield too, but he has light arrows, so he can just shoot them. And then in this room, I was actually going to be skipping a bunch of stuff. You're meant to have Medley stand in one shaft of light, Link in the other with the mirror shield, and shine light on both of the eyes. But Al's not going to do that. Instead, he's going to do a precise roll clip, or a roll clip with a precise setup in order to get out of bounds and just skip the room entirely.
And all of these roll clips that he's doing, all of these are frame perfect.
Every last one.
And this is where the majority of the difficulty comes into play. Where he's having to do a bunch of roll clips. Yeah, and so far this is already like really good. Getting both of those first try is really impressive because especially on that second one, with that second one, he not only has to time the roll clip, but he has to have a pretty precise angle with the direction he's wanting to do the roll clip in, and then he has to get behind the door without getting crushed by the song stone.
Here's one place he's going to use the mirror shield. He wants to break the elephant statue in the next room.
Nope. That was also the only usage of the skull hammer in the run.
Oh, nice.
The only reason we needed that.
All right, and this last room is the hardest to skip.
Yeah, this will have a pretty convoluted setup. He's going to get rid of all the keys so that they don't bother him. Or he's going to at least get rid of most of them. Sometimes he can leave one. And then he's going to need to get on top of a tomb in order to get on top of another tomb, throw a bomb. Actually, Joash, you should probably take this one.
Yeah, so he opened that chest just so he can get on top of it, and by opening that chest, he was able to get just enough height to be able to do a jump to that tombstone to be able to get on top of it. And then he goes from that tombstone to this tombstone, and then he does a precise setup there to allow the bomb to push him onto the ledge, and then he'll use that bomb to then let the bomb push himself out of bounds, and then do the roll clip required to fully get through the wall there. So really complex setup just to get not only on top of the tomb to where he can actually do a roll clip in that room, but also just the roll clip itself.
And
also the that was
so good.
That was one of the best.
flawless.
That actually was one of the best Earth temples I've ever seen, and I'm not exaggerating. That was very good.
Inputs in a row. 6 frame perfect first try in a row. That was incredible.
I told y'all it'd be hype.
That was so fast. And yeah, it's partially so fast because he didn't really need to do anything in this dungeon. He just needs to get to the end because he's already got the mirror shield, which, I mean, didn't even need that for the boss. He just needs light arrows. But he already has everything he needs to fight the boss and finish the dungeon.
So this boss is kind of interesting. The fact that I have the light arrows means that I can just shoot the boss and stun him. Now, we don't really know why this works because you're never supposed to have the light arrows while fighting this boss. But conveniently in the speedrun, that means that I can just shoot him with the light arrows and instantly stun him, which gets around having to shine him with the mirror shield.
Yeah, it really
One more
trivializes this boss as far as like the phase where you fight Valhalla goes. The tricky part about this boss though is definitely getting the smaller pose before they spawn back. Now the thing about this fight is that there's a certain cap to how many of these poses you can kill for each phase. At max or I should say at minimum, there are 3 phases. So once you hit like a certain number of poses, it'll automatically go to the next phase. So that's why you had to do that in 3 phases. And that is Earth's Temple.
That's Earth Temple. Hardest dungeon completed.
And as a reward for all of his efforts in this very difficult dungeon, Al is about to have his sword downgraded.
Yeah, well, normally it's supposed to upgrade your sword. You're supposed to have had the completely uncharged level 0 Master Sword when you watch this cutscene. But because I went to the Puppet Getting room and watched the Puppet Getting cutscene, Link got the fully charged Master Sword because he had to hold it in his hand, and I also got the mirror shield from that. That's why I skipped in the Earth Temple. So, because my sword was fully charged, this cutscene is designed to make your Master Sword go to level 1. So it actually is now going from level 2 to level 1. That's very, very important because in only the HD version, I don't really know why, but this is only in the HD version of the game. If you have your sword and it's downgraded and then you save and quit, it'll re-upgrade your Master Sword. And that's really bad because we need our Master Sword to be partially upgraded in order for Makar to spawn. That's why I have to go to Earth Temple first, because this triggers Makar to spawn. But if I save and quit, then Makar will disappear because my sword will be once again fully upgraded. So from this point until I'm done with Makar in Wind Temple, I cannot save and quit. So don't tempt me to do it. I've seen a lot of runners lose runs here just by, oops, I save and quit. Well, there goes my run.
Al, you sure?
I've seen Joe.
Al, you sure you don't want to save your progress and take a little break right now?
Yeah, that was a really intense dungeon. I'm just saying, we might need another 5 minutes.
You want to go grab a snack or?
Alright, so I already got the song. I got the Wind God's Aria already. So I can head straight to Forest Haven and teach it to Makar.
Heading straight to Forest Haven will just be yet another super swim. This one's pretty short. Not too far away. But he does need to stall a little bit to let the island load.
Yeah. Only other thing you have to look for in this swim is that there's a random well, it's not random, but there's a small little wooden raft somewhere in the middle along your way, which I only mention it because I myself have personally hit it a couple of times, so it's always something I look out for whenever I do categories that do this particular movement.
Yeah, luckily I did not sploosh on that raft. Then I would have had to drown because I can't save and quit.
Here's more of that music we promised.
Makara's gonna play us a little tune.
Very lovely.
Hey.
And we get the clap. Nice. The audience is clapping for Makar's duet.
Very good, Makar.
So now that we got Makar, we're going to head to the Wind Temple. Now, here's a very interesting change between this and all dungeons, is that we are not going to be getting the Iron Boots at all. Because I can completely skip using them in Wind Temple to get the hook shot. There is one room you cannot get past in Wind Temple, but because we only need the hook shot, that room is actually after the hook shot. So because this is not all dungeons, I only need the hook shot, so I can skip the Iron Boots altogether.
Oh, this is a really awkward super swim coming up called Beetle Swim. There isn't a good swim spot on the island itself here, so Al is going to use the barrel on the side of Beetle's ship to ease himself into the water, which is very awkward.
Yeah, you have to use his barrel as a slope entering the water.
Yeah, so he's got to like nudge him forward just a little bit, just so he can have like just the right distance to be able to ease himself into the water. But with that, we have Makar, and we're now entering Wind Temple.
Yep,
And
final dungeon.
And if you've played Wind Waker before, what's the item in Wind Temple?
Did somebody say the hook shot? I heard somebody say the hook shot.
The
Somebody
hook
said
shot?
the hook shot.
Is it the hook
you are
shot?
correct.
Oh my goodness, you're right.
Make sure you don't accidentally do any zombie hovers in here.
Nope, no zombie hovers. None allowed. So it's kind of funny that everything that we just did in the run, it led to this. Because we only need the hook shot. But we had to do everything beforehand just to get to the hook shot. Let me explain why. In order to get to the hook shot, you have to get past these first couple of rooms, and the only way to get past the room is by planting trees with Makar. That's because it's required to unlock the door. If you were to simply clip out of bounds, there's no loading zone you can trigger, and the next area is not loaded until you open the door. Unlike Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask, in this game they heavily nerfed getting out of bounds in dungeons. So we have to get to the next room by using Makar. So what does that require? So I need to plant these trees in order to unlock the door. And so to plant these trees, I need to get Makar and bring him into the dungeon. And I need to control him with Command Melody. So that shows why we went all the way to Tower of the Gods to get Command Melody. And Makar doesn't spawn unless you've beaten Earth Temple before. Meaning everything I did is completely unskippable. Unless we could figure out to get past these 2 rooms. So, if you can figure that out, you save almost an hour in this category. Yeah, one more room where we plant a tree to unlock the next door, and that's it. We're done with Makar. We only used him for 3 trees.
But at least he'll live a long, happy life after this.
Yeah, it's okay. He'll just be happy, right? He won't get caught or go to jail or anything for his tax fraud.
Tax fraud? Oh no.
Oh, Makar!
Makar!
No, Makar!
No!
I left my keys in there.
Left my keys in Makar. My keys! We're gonna open this warp pot with this pretty precise arrow shot.
Be a nice sequence break for getting up there. And then from there, I was going to do a pretty cool trick in a minute.
It's probably one of the coolest tricks in the run.
Yeah. You mentioned before that going out of bounds is nerfed, and that's true for these kinds of doors where it's just going from room to room in the dungeon, because there isn't a loading zone behind them. But for some doors, there is, going into mini-boss rooms specifically. And he's going to exploit that by going out of bounds and floating over one. Not hovering, but flying over one.
Oh. Glad you cleared that up there.
So he doesn't have the iron boots to open the floor the normal way. Just gonna get over to this door frame and roll clip to get out of bounds. You get a really cool view of the dungeon here, because this is a very vertical dungeon.
Yeah, you see the entire dungeon during that trick.
And then it just...
And we just entered the mini-boss room from way above, because you can trigger loading zones while leaping, even if you're way above the loading zone. Otherwise, I'd have to land all the way on the ground, which is very slow because you'd have to fall all the way down there. Well, this is the hookshot mini boss. This is why we came here.
This is it. This is the pivotal point.
Yep.
What we've all been working for, what Al has been striving for this whole time. All of our efforts have led us to this room.
Yup.
I say all of our efforts, but it's actually just all Al.
Yeah, I've been doing nothing.
Yeah,
You've been commentating.
Listen, I've just been chilling in a chair, just watching.
Yeah. Watching some Wind Waker
this,
HD.
honestly. I'm just joking around over here. Like, there
Alright, so I'm
it
gonna
is.
save and quit. Yep, there it is.
Yep.
So now we can beat the game.
He's gonna.
We got the hookshot. We can beat the game. So we're gonna leave the dungeon because we got the hookshot. That's what we came here for. And then we're gonna go back to the Forsaken Fortress Quadrant, go to the Dark Portal, and take it down to Hyrule and go beat the game.
And I'll keep saying, that was it. Now we can just go beat the game. There is still one kind of big thing standing in our way. Al started the Puppet Ganon cutscene earlier, but he didn't finish the fight or anything. We will still have to take care of Puppet Ganon or clear that room in some way.
Yeah, we're gonna have to, I'm gonna be doing, well, attempting to do, an RNG trick. So this is completely luck. It is a 38% chance if this works. Or else I have to just keep retrying until that 38% works. So I'm going to be attempting to skip Puppet Ganon. The way it's gonna work is I'm going to clip out of bounds. From out of bounds, I can get an angle on these morphs that I can shoot through the bottom platform with this extended fire arrow hitbox that hits them from below the platform and catches them on fire. And then they will bounce. And if they bounce far enough, they will light the work pot lid on fire, which will open the work pot, allowing me to take it to the top. But the problem is that the amount of distance that a morph bounces is RNG. It's random. It could either get a little hop or a big hop. And so I'm hoping it takes a really big hop. And so I can, I'm gonna go ahead and get 2 morphs. The third one's not close enough for this to work. And even with 2 morphs, it's only a 38% chance that it works.
And it's unfortunate that we can't actually see if it works until we actually enter the warp portal. So there's a little bit of suspense until we actually get to the pot to see if it's actually open or not. So here we go, tip number 1. Aura is going to flip through this door here to get out of bounds so that he can get a good shot at the morph. We're going to do a setup here in one of the corners.
And it's also a pain that Puppet Ganon is still here just trying to attack Al. He's going to be shooting fists and launching some bats at him.
Yeah, and he makes a lot of noise too, which makes it harder to hear the morph dying sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really quiet. No. Unfortunate. Yeah, so if that trick would have worked, I would have been able to take the warp pot to the top. Which means that none of the morphs bounce far enough to get to the platform, to trigger the, to burn the pot lid. So I'm gonna have to reset by save warping to get back into the room and reload the morphs. Because unfortunately there's no way to void out in the room, so this is the fastest way to retry the trick.
That's so harsh that you have to restart.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It is harsh, yeah.
At the end of the run, too.
Yep, right at the end, totally RNG. It is a little bit worse in Wind Waker SD, though, as it just takes a lot longer to set up for the trick.
Yeah, since they don't have item sliding it, they have to do it. They have a lot more steps to have to go through in order to do it. So attempt number 2.
All right, what will it be?
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Hey, second
let's
try.
go.
Hey.
Oh yeah, I saw it before you did, didn't I?
All right, and these are the morphs
Hey.
that Al was lighting on fire from beneath. Normally in an 80% run, he would use them to hover up to this place he just hookshot it to, but he's not going to do that as this is hoverless. Instead, he will do a kind of strange setup in order to get pause storage so that he can skip the long enter Ganondorf cutscene, the one where Ganon goes ha 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 for quite a while. And oh wait, it sounds like you did enter the cutscene.
Oh my god, you hear all that laughing? My goodness.
Well, the save warp brings him back to the beginning of the dungeon, but because he was able to open the warp pod from beneath, he can just take it up again. It's still open. So he doesn't need to do that a second time.
Oh, we're coming up on time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
this
about
is
to do the
it.
final fight. All right, last fight. Here we go. All right, here we go.
You've only got 3 hearts. You need to be careful.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. This is the final fight after all.
This goes by so quickly.
He's
when you
saying
do it.
that. Yeah, he's saying that because in any percent you fight him with 1 heart. So that's what the joke is.
Yeah, also, here's our use for the hook shot. Normally we have to do the zombie hover there to get on that specific platform, but not in this category.
All right, time's coming up. On the final blow to Ganondorf is when you end the timer. So get ready. All right. Ready? Final pair. Here we go. And time.
Let's go.
GGL.
GGL.
GG. That was
Thank you.
That was a great run.
Absolutely incredible.
Thank you. So my timer stopped by accident. What was the final time?
We have a 1:45:15.
Okay, so this would have been world record.
Oh my god.
However, we took 2 breaks, so you just witnessed the new hoverless world record at a hotfix.
Let's go.
Segmented record.
That's
Pretty much.
incredible.
Pretty much.
Either way, this was an incredible showcase. Like,
Wow.
Yeah.
like standing ovation right here.
Yeah.
By 1 minute, it would have been a world record. By 1 minute. So,
Wow.
but I took breaks,
Wow.
so.
That's fantastic. So, chat, you know what to do. I've posted this link a couple times. I'll do it one more time there. Please make sure to go give Al a follow. If this doesn't convince you that he deserves your follows, I don't know what does, because this was just an absolutely incredible run. Also, shout outs to the commentators for killing it on the commentary too. Y'all did just a fantastic showcase.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
having us.
guys. Yeah, go follow. So Joe Ash does Wind Waker HD runs right now. Joe Ash is doing No Barrier Skip. He is the second place holder in the long time. He's been long time second place holder in any percent. Trying to bot me one day. He'll get there. You'll get there, Joe Ash.
Almost there. One step at a time.
Yeah, Joe Ash holds the top time in a lot of categories. So go follow Joe Ash. He's still doing Wind Waker HD runs right now. Beast is doing Twilight Princess 100% right now. He just got the 100% world record. GG, Beast.
Thank you.
Just happened recently, like within the last few days.
I beat it again
And
today.
Beast has also done Wind Waker HD. What'd you say?
I beat it again today.
Wait, you
Oh,
beat it
you
again
did?
today?
Yo,
Oh my,
let's
okay, I
go.
didn't realize.
Dude, all the world records
world
today.
record
Let's
from
go.
Bewilder Beast. So go follow Bewilder Beast. And definitely check out Wind Waker HD. I think this speedrun I think it's very underrated. I think this is probably one of the most underrated speedruns in my opinion. I think probably mainly because it being on the Wii U. I mean, like, I guess it's kind of hard to get a Wii U, so I guess hoping that Nintendo releases this on the Switch, which I guess could happen any day now, but I think the movement is probably one of the coolest things in the speedrun. I think it's just a very, very fast-paced speedrun,
Yeah, and it's so different.
especially with item sliding.
It's so different from the original Wind Waker's speedruns, and it's so different from any other speedrun I've seen before. It's a very unique game and very cool.
Yeah. And if it tells y'all anything, I've essentially been playing this game for 4 years, for the most part. So, I mean, if that tells you anything, there you go. It's fun.
And the community is very inviting too. If anyone watching is interested in picking up the speedrun or just learning more about it, reach out to any of the 3 of us and we can get you hooked up. There's a Discord channel or a Discord server where you can learn a whole lot about the speedrun.
And we have a
Yeah,
lot
like
of
me.
variety, too.
Yeah, like, feel free to DM me whenever. If you're trying to learn this game and you need help, like, feel free to DM me on Discord. Like, I respond to direct messages from anyone, pretty much. As long as you're not weird about it. Yeah, it's just like, I want to try to help out the community as much as I can, so You'll find me often. If you go into any Wind Waker HD stream, you'll probably just find me there. Because I just love watching this game and I just love playing it, so.
And we have a lot of variety.
A lot, yeah.
Like if you don't feel like doing the manual super swim, we actually have no MSS variants of most of the categories on the main board. So we have short categories, we have long categories, medium categories. We have pretty much everything that you can offer in terms of that.
If you're trying to learn this game, I would probably most recommend starting with the any % no manual super swim, because it removes a lot of the harder tricks in the category, that being manual super swim, of course, the Forsaken Fortress 1 door clip, which is beyond difficult, and also currently the world record does not have pup again and skip, which actually I can try to show that off if you want. If you want me to go ahead and
I was gonna say
show off.
that I know Al was telling me beforehand that he has some things he'd like to show off if we have time, and since we just got the unofficial world record here, we definitely do have plenty of time to show off any little tricks you'd like to.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna show off the pup again and skip. So this is one of the tricks that you use the zombie hover for. So zombie hovering, which is banned in hoverless. I'm gonna be doing some zombie hovering here, and hopefully really good zombie hovering, because like this requires very good zombie hovering. So a zombie hover is where you go to 0 health and then you perform you can perform a jump slash in a very short window. It's actually 10 frames. It's really not. It's like a third of a second. It's not the biggest. It's not the shortest window. And then you have to keep mashing B. So I'm gonna show my hands during this actually. So this is what I could do instead to skip pup again in. But in this category, because we have hookshot, we're not gonna do this because it's slower to do this anyway, because we can. Hookshot is just a lot faster because we have to wait for keys. So I'm gonna be damaging down all the way to a quarter of a health. So we're gonna use bombs to damage down. So this is what's used to skip pup again into any %, because in any %, you're allowed to zombie hover. So because you don't have hookshot, you can't do that trick that I just did to skip pup again in, the one where I shot the morts with a fire arrow. The reason that doesn't work is that you can't shoot those morts from below the platform from inbounds. You have to be out of bounds. And currently, the only way to get out of bounds is to go on top of that door, or you can actually go on by where the torches are. Either way, you can clip, because that's where a corner meets the wall, and you can hang on it and climb up and roll clip and get out of bounds. You can't do that from the ground floor, and we're stuck on the ground floor because we can't use the hook shot. So in any %, you're gonna see this trick. And in my opinion, I think this is probably one of the hardest, if not the hardest tricks done in all of Zelda speedrunning. It's just, or 3D Zelda, it's very, very hard. I don't really see any tricks like this because of a lot of different reasons, but you'll see.
Yeah, very physically intense trick.
Very physically intense. So when I enter this room, I'm gonna be on a timer because I'm gonna be needing to zombie hover. So I'm gonna go to 0 hearts, and then I'm gonna start mashing the B button a bunch of times, and it's gonna start going up in the air. That's zombie hovering. And so I need to heal, because while I can gain as much height as I want, it doesn't do me any good unless I heal. Because when I have 0 hearts, if I touch the ground, the death animation plays, and then I'll respawn at the start of the dungeon. And you can't go through loading zones while dead in this game either. It doesn't work. So the only way to get to the top of the room without the hookshot and without beating pup again is by zombie hovering. And so I'm going to be hovering up and attempting to bomb keys, which move in an RNG pattern. And the keys, if they get bombed correctly, which is a frame perfect, I have to have frame perfect input at the very top of the room. If all of that works, I will be able to heal at the top of the door, or the top of the loading zone, and skip pup again. And my world record has this in Wind Waker HD any %, and it's 45 minutes. It saves 2 minutes in any %, and so very few runners can do this right now. And so I'm one of the few that are able to do it. So that is in my world record. So let's try it. Let's try it. Here we go.
Yeah, this is a toughie.
Yeah, this is.
If you have any tap emotes, please post them.
Yes.
Help Al Mash with some tap.
A lot of tapping is involved.
Okay, so I'm actually gonna retry because I was a little slow with starting off that, so I would have not been able to. That right there, believe it or not, I would have not been able to reach the room fast enough. If I had started just then, the keys would have spawned before I reached the top and would have knocked me down. So let me try that again. I want to get a really good attempt in. Let me try again. But yeah, you have to very quickly get into position and start the zombie hover because you're on a timer when you reach the top. And your mashing has to be very close to frame perfect. So the fastest you can mash in this game is 15 times per second because you have to be holding the button on one frame and then releasing it on the next frame. And it runs at 30 frames per second. So I need to mash about 13 to 14 times per second for a minute straight for this in order to get it. And that alone, you may think that's difficult, but there's more. At the top, you also have to do a frame perfect input to drop the bomb. And then you have to get good RNG, have the keys get in the correct position. So it's really hard. All right, let's try it again.
Ooh, yes. Al, do you want to point your camera to the controller so that people see what you're doing?
Oh.
I think it's a bit late.
Oh, wait. Oh, you went to the door.
I was a little late.
Sorry, too
Yeah.
late. Don't worry about it.
There he goes.
Here we go.
I don't know if he can do that while holding the controller up like that. Kermit Ascend.
Here we go. So this is the legendary zombie hover that we've been alluding to this entire showcase. This is what we skipped. Now, also something that makes this kind of difficult is every now and then Papaganon's streams can mess up your position, which unfortunately you can't really do anything about.
My hands are very tired. Very, very tired.
You can see just how much of a workout this is.
The mashing at the start was good, but yeah, unfortunately the mashing kind of slowed down at the end, so...
Aw.
Yeah, this... If I would have mashed fast enough, I would have been able to reach the top, and then I'd have to pull a bomb and drop it. And then I would have had to try to get the keys to get bombed by it, and then I could hover and try to get healed. How much time do we have? Do you want me to try again, or do you want me to try to do another trick? That
We
you wanna show off?
definitely. You can show off tricks for like another 20 minutes or so if you'd like.
20
so
minutes. Okay.
I mean,
don't hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Do be careful, Al.
Okay.
It might be better to just show off
struggled.
the
Because
morph
I
hover.
can definitely
Struggled,
tell
yeah.
that is quite, that's quite hard on the
Yeah, I'm
hands.
drenched in sweat right now. I am sweating like crazy right now. But that is the trick that's done in any percent. In categories that have hookshot, they don't have to do that trick, which is why I did not do that in my run today. It's because that's slower to do. If you have the hookshot's faster. So.
Yeah, primarily because he can't get out of bounds without the hook shot.
Yeah. So I can show off a different zombie hover now. So here's another zombie hover that you can do. This is what's done after. So imagine I got Pupagan and Skip, right? And then imagine from that top platform, I shot the warp pod with a fire arrow. And then I performed pause charge on a loading zone, saved and quit, and I'm back right here. So let's pretend that all that happened.
I'm imagining it.
And it's any percent. Yeah, so it's any percent. I don't have this item, the hookshot. I don't have it. So I can't hookshot the top platform. I can't get there without the hookshot. So how am I gonna get there? So here's how we're gonna do it. So I'm gonna damage down. And we're going to, it's actually faster to damage down with morphs in this room. So I can shoot these morphs with a fire arrow and run into the morph and it'll deal me damage. So that's faster to deal damage that way. And so what we're going to do is we're going to zombie hover, as you guessed, to get to the top platform. And I'm going to use the morph to heal. So here's how it goes. So for one, if you shoot a morph, well, let me just show you. If I shoot a morph with an arrow, nothing drops. In that case, nothing dropped. Though you can, sometimes it drops something, but if I have, it will never drop a heart. However, if I were to stab a morph and have it latch onto me on the same frame, the morph just latched onto me, and so right now I don't have critical health, so it's not gonna work. But if I have critical health and I roll the morph off of me, I can get it onto the platform, and then we can get it all the way up to the platform, and then zombie hover after shooting the morph and get the heart. So that's what we're gonna do. This is way easier than pumping in and skip. Just don't worry. This one I will not fail, most likely.
Yeah, this is one that
yeah.
beginners can actually do.
This is beginner friendly, yeah. The mashing is a lot easier too, and it's for much less time. So I'm gonna damage down with these morphs. And then I'm going to go to this chain, and because my spawn location is at the top, I'm going to be able to void out on the chain, and that'll spawn me at the top. And then I can get the morph on me by simply just pressing B to slash my sword. And then I'm gonna roll the morph off of me, and hopefully it goes backwards. Okay, that's a little bit at an angle. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to get the morph to the platform. Let's try that again. Actually, I'm gonna take a little bit more damage. I kind of forgot to take damage, so let's do that again. Let's try that again. Look, I can just void out and spawn again. Okay. I needed to get to a quarter of a heart, because when I bomb myself, I need the bomb to deal me the final blow. So I need to damage down a little bit more. Oh, that's a really good morph. Okay, so it's RNG what direction it moves in. That time it went directly backwards. Okay, so now we're gonna get it to the platform, and we're gonna get it in the corner, and then I'm going to shoot it, and then zombie hover and heal with the heart. And this is all just to skip using the hook shot. Okay, so it's in a good position, and now I'm gonna shoot it and slash myself with a bomb and zombie hover. There we go. So this is how we reach the top platform without the hook shot in any percent after performing the pump again and skip. So yeah, this is all just to skip this hook shot right here. So get these keys. Okay. Yeah, good try, buddy. Okay. So yeah, that's all just to skip this hook shot right here. The revenge. Hey. Yeah, that's all just to skip that hook shot right there. So. That's what we're skipping in the hoverless category, and that's why we have to go get the hook shot, because that's the only other way to reach this platform. So. All right, another trick?
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
Oh, do you have one planned? My request was Fairy Island clips.
Fairy Island clips? Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one to showcase.
Okay, we'll go do that. I'm gonna leave. So, in the any percent category, we have to go into these fairy islands. By fairy islands, I mean the ones that give you upgrades. So the bomb upgrade, the rupee upgrade, the quiver upgrade. We don't care about the rupee upgrade in any percent because we don't spend rupees on anything. But what I am interested in any percent is the bomb upgrade and quiver upgrade, and that's because we're going to be getting bombs in an out-of-source way, so that when I actually get the bomb item, I would just have 0 bombs otherwise. And same thing with quiver. You get the light arrows, but the light arrows is not the first bow you're supposed to get. You're supposed to get the bow in Tower of the Gods. So the light arrow bow is not designed to give you a quiver. So if I were to just get the light arrows, I'd just have 0 arrows and I couldn't use them. So that's no good. So to get around that, we go into these fairy islands and we clip into them early. The reason we have to clip into them is that we don't have the item required to unlock them. So these clips we have to do with item slides are actually pretty difficult. So I'm gonna show them off. Where am I? Am I going to... I'm trying to get my orientation. Okay, there we go. I told you I have the island memorized, I promise. So we're gonna go...
You could go to C5. No.
Where are we going? C5. Wait, I'll go there next. Okay, so this is Thorn Fairy Island. So in any percent, we don't have the skull hammer, so we can't hammer these pegs. And this, you can item slide to get past these thorns, but the problem is that, well, let me. How do I do this exactly? I think I just pull this and then item slide. So you can get in here, but the problem is that there's an invisible wall. So you can get past the thorns, but there's an invisible wall that only lowers if you hammer all these pegs. So that's not an option. But there is another option. If you charge an item slide from down here, you can clip into the island. Basically, you have to have the correct speed when you reach the top in order to clip underneath the ground and reach the loading zone from beneath the ground. So that was too low speed because Link did not clip. If he clips too low, it's too much speed. I've not done this in so long, dude. I do the other version now, but I'm just showing this off. As you can see, the reason this is really precise is that, oh, there we go. The speed that I gain is dependent on how far I have moved. So like every frame I gain speed, but the speed I gain is dependent on my analog stick angle. So the closer I hold towards the center of the stick, oh, I'm not showing my inputs, am I? Okay, so let me, hold on. I just realized my input display was not showing. No, not live split. There we go. Okay, so as you can see my stick, if I hold really close to the center right now, that is the best optimal way to gain a lot of speed. If I hold way too far from the center, it'll make me not gain speed as quickly. Meaning the analog stick position you hold is very precise for that specific clip. However, there's another way to do it that was recently found. Until this was found, this trick was probably, to me, awful. But there's another way that you can clip from this tree right here. And so you have to charge speed against this tree. And it's really useful because there's a visual cue to when to stop charging, and Link will clip once he reaches the correct speed, as I mentioned before. So we can just lose speed until we clip. So we're just gonna charge against this tree and just wait for him to clip. And this to me is like the salvation of this trick, because we can just charge against this tree and then wait. It's kind of hard with this bomb cannon here. Can I like take him out? I forgot this bomb cannon, he's not here at any percent. Yeah, he's not there at any percent. So it's kind of hard for me to do it while he's there. Right. Oh, he just got me. Okay, so I turn, and then I hold down, and it clips. And there it is. So that is the way that I currently do it now. So yeah, World of Beast thought this is really, really cool. I think this is pretty cool too. That's another setup that you can use. And that was very recently found too. That was not known back in the day. And so it's this really, really, it's pretty annoying.
I guess it looks
let's see, what else?
crazier if you've tried item sliding before, because Link is very slippery. Trying to get him to like balance essentially on that tree has got to be the toughest thing.
Yeah, staying against this tree is really hard. It takes a lot of practice to stay against this tree. And so now I like to refer to my splits as the tree hugging splits. So
hug a tree 1, hug a tree 2.
Yep. All right, you want to see another trick?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay. So in the any percent no MSS category, you can't. I kind of mentioned before that you can't super swim off of some of these islands. So let me show you why. So in any percent no manual super swim, you cannot perform the manual super swim. The manual super swim is used to sequence break to escape outset early. And so because we skip outset, we skip a bunch of flags that would change where I save warp. So now, since I'm at the later part of the game, normally this is what happens when you save and quit. If I'm on this island and I save and quit, where do I go? Well, I mean, it's pretty simple. I go back to the island, right? But if you perform the manual super swim, you can, if you have not been in the boat yet, you can save warp back to outset or windfall. And so that's important because I cannot super swim off this island because there's nothing I can charge against. I mean, I could really kind of just like try to do that, but I wouldn't get much speed because you can see Link falls after he has enough speed. So there's nothing I can super swim off of. So the only other option is to island hop. And so it's kind of crazy that this was found, honestly, because this was theorized for a pretty long time. In order to get off of this island, so in the any percent no manual super swim category, they'll go to this island first, and then I guess you can't even see it because it's so far away. Where is it? You can't even see it. It's so far away. But you want to go to Forest Haven next. Where is it? It'll be in this direction. Yeah, you can't even see it. It's just too far away. I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
Yeah,
I think you can. I think you can see
it.
Private Oasis, but like, no, I don't think you can
That
see.
little blip right there.
Oh,
I think that little blip might be it.
Oh yeah, that might barely be it.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
So there is a setup that is pretty consistent that was found that allows us to basically teleport in one frame from this island all the way to that island. And so that's if you charge against this tree. So trees are coming in again. Once again with the trees, dude. The trees cannot get enough love. So if you aim right here, and actually let me turn off gyro aiming so that my stick doesn't my dot doesn't start bouncing around. We charge against this tree at this aiming angle. Link will clip through the tree at the correct speed to reach the island in one frame, all the way across the ocean. It's very far, but it's kind of precise to stay on this tree, so. That should work. There we go.
Hey.
And so then there would be a cutscene here, which would instantly trigger once I reach here, allowing me to get to Forest Haven from that island in the no manual super sim category. It's very recently found. I thought it's a really cool trick.
That is really cool.
Yeah, it's really. You may have noticed if you watch this whole run, you may have noticed there have been a lot of things like this here and there that have just been found very recently. Like we've been finding a lot of like small and big stuff here and there, like within like the last few months. Like a lot of things have been changing. So this speedrun is evolving a lot, and it's just getting better and better as it goes. So we're in an exciting time, that's for sure.
All right, do we have time to show more things, or?
Yeah.
All right, well, here's a really simple one. If you bonk like a wall and then perform a backflip, something interesting happens. It's easier to home buffer it, but I'm gonna backflip and watch what happens. Why in the world was that?
Whoa.
It's hard to do it unbuffered. Oh, let me do it with a jump slash. You can do it unbuffered easily with a jump slash. So that was a jump slash. It was a cute little jump slash, but let me do it with a side hop. So it's kind of funny, but Link just performs like this little jump. I don't really know why, but I think it's because you're still in his bonky animation, and so if you jump slash, backflip, side hop, I think I did all the ones that try to make him go midair. He just kind of like does it in place.
It's kind of the same thing when you climb a ledge as well. If you do like a backflip right like on the first frame he climbs the ledge, he'll like do a really glitchy backflip, and it looks goofy.
Yeah, let me get back to Forest Haven because I saved, so now I'm stuck on this island. So I gotta do this clip again. I'll show it off.
Might also be good to just show what a sploosh looks like, because you didn't sploosh at all during the run.
I did one sploosh.
Well, yeah, that was on an island.
Okay, pause buffering alert. We have to pause buffer to get back to this island. So we'll do a short manual swim to get back to this island. And I'll show those off. This is my only save file, so I kind of didn't make any others, so I gotta use this save file. A little bit more speed. It should be enough. There we go. I'll enter Beetle to reload the area. Okay. So that jump, so if you jump and grab a ledge and then backflip on the first frame after climbing up, Link will do a really funny looking backflip. Let me do it here. Oh, there it is. I got it first try. Let me just pause buffer this.
I feel like that's been the story of tonight.
Yeah, I think he's I think he does a forward. I think this is a gainer. Oh wait, I didn't get it that time. Oh wait, did I get it that time?
Yeah, it's like his body's movement is not proportional to like his actual like lip animation.
Yeah, he does a forward backflip.
Yeah, it's like
he's flipping forward.
Yeah, he backflips halfway and then flips back.
Yeah, he flips back and then the other way. Like, it's so weird. I'm gonna save here. That way I'm here. But yeah, it's just kind of bizarre. And then I guess I could show off a sploosh. So, though we did see one sploosh at Fire Mountain.
Oh, really?
We
I
need
missed that.
more
Oh, yeah, that's true.
sploosh.
Sploosh. So, sploosh. All right, so we'll do it. So, so here's what are examples of islands you can sploosh at? So Ice Ring is a good example.
Yeah.
Let's go to Ice Ring.
Ice Ring is my nemesis.
Uh-oh. Where did all my
no.
speed go? Yeah, so this is,
Oh,
Ice Ring is
no.
one of the islands. So, yeah, Ice Ring is one of them. We did see a sploosh at Fire Mountain. So, yeah, so it's just one of those islands where if you go too quickly while super swimming in the quadrant, if you don't wait for it to load first and you enter the quadrant, it'll have the water be unloaded and then you'll fall and lose all your speed.
How many quadrants are there that do that?
I don't know the exact. We could count. Wait, somebody knows the exact number. Wait, we could count. So,
Let's see.
Okay,
There's
Fire Mountain and
Windfall
Ice
so the
Ring.
one I'm on, Fire Mountain Ice Ring, that's 2. Windfall and Dragon Roost.
Yep.
Forsaken
Forest
Fortress.
Haven,
Outset.
Outset, Forsaken Fortress. Is that 7?
Yeah, that should be 7.
Yeah, that's 7.
That's 7. Great Fish doesn't count. People say Great Fish, but Great Fish doesn't count.
Yeah.
Just because there's a cutscene that you want to avoid. But yeah, so Fire Mountain, let's do Fire Mountain. Whee! So Fire Mountain's an example. So the water was unloaded. That's why I splooshed. Alright, so that's one of them. So wait, we've done 2 so far. And then the next
We're gonna
one,
show
I'll
all
do
of them?
Forest Haven. Yeah, I'll show all of them. Why not? Sploosh! Every time I
Suddenly
sploosh,
a
you
new
have to say,
category, all splooshes.
Yeah.
all splooshes.
Oh,
Okay, but you have to say sploosh. I need to turn gyro aiming back on. Okay, so, let's go to Dragon Roost next. If you have to say it. Oh wait, how much speed do I have? Oh, sploosh! Okay, that one didn't count.
Loosh.
That one didn't count. That one didn't count. Sploosh! Okay, that
Oh,
one
you-
is just from me going up
Beetle
on the
You
mirror.
sploosh.
you have in fact splooshed at Forest Haven though.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's not
It
what
did
I meant.
not.
That's not what I meant. Which way am I aiming? This way. Okay. Alright, Dragon Roost. Alright, say it. Ready? Alright. Next up is Outset. This might not be enough speed to sploosh.
Oh no.
Oh, wait, where are we going?
Uh-oh.
This might be too low
Well,
speed.
you can always just
I might not sploosh.
do a sploosh from outset to outset.
No, I didn't sploosh. Whatever. Okay, I didn't have enough speed. Try it again. Okay.
So the splooshing happens from going into the areas too quickly. So if your
Right,
your
yes.
super swim is slow enough, it won't happen.
Right, so that last time I was going slow enough that the water loaded before I entered the quadrant. But in this case, I was going so fast that when I enter the quadrant, this is one of these special, those 7 quadrants that I mentioned, they're special because they have enough actors on them that I guess Nintendo wanted to make it easier for them to load by unloading the water while the island is in the process of loading. So when the island starts loading, the water gets blipped. And it comes back after the island is finished loading. So because there's no water, Link falls, and then when the water comes back, he starts swimming again. But because he's falling, that removes all my speed. It sets it to 0. And I can't super swim from the water without manual super swimming. So it's actually faster to just quit without saving and just try again. Because you can't gain speed unless you're on land, and then you carry your speed from land into the water. Yeah.
Oh. It's wild.
Yeah. It makes super
It's
swimming a
super
lot harder.
interesting. I'm just like, I'm just in taking all of that. It's
Yeah. All right, let's go to Windfall. Ready? Sploosh! Sploosh! All right, and one last one, and that's Forest Haven, which I didn't technically sploosh at yet. So that's why when you see me in the speedrun doubling back over and over again, slowing down, because I need the island to load before I enter, in order for the water to be loaded. All right, so we'll double back.
This is a nice way to practice your beetle swim.
Boosh. Yeah, it is.
Practice super
All right, so that's all the solutions.
Swoosh.
All right, what's another cool one I can show off?
Another cool trick. Cabana skip or Cabana skip.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sure.
So this is something
So-
we do in no barrier skip.
Yeah, you want to explain this one, Josh?
Yeah. So what we do here is we're actually skipping the cabana deed for the private oasis. In order to get inside the private oasis, you need to give Miss Marie, the teacher at Windfall, 20 joy pendants in order to gain access. However, there's a special kind of item slide we can do to enter into the building early. Unfortunately, unlike some of the other clips we've done, we can't roll clip into the cabana, but we can do a special trick where we can do something called an odd shot, which will leave Link it'll leave Link's model kind of under the ground. He's not technically like under the ground, but like you're shooting the hook shot from under the ground. So what he's going to do is he's going to item slide against this light pole, which is very, very precise because it's really tiny. He's going to go all the way down, practically into the
Where
ocean.
am I?
And you can see that his legs are still on the ground. They're like stretching all
Yeah,
the way up
he's
into
got the
the
stretchy
ground.
legs.
And so now he's
Oh my
kind of
God.
now he's shooting the hook shot and moving his way ever so slightly towards the door of the cabana. And now what he's going to do is he's going to use this odd shot to shoot the tree. And when he hook shots the tree, he's going to go through the door and go through the loading zone. And that's how you get inside the cabana early.
There are not a lot of pairs of pajamas that could handle that.
that is. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
The elasticity on these pajamas is something else. Also, shoutouts to Greylick.
Yeah, he likes slide puzzle. Yeah, slide puzzle percent is a category on category extensions. You want to do that for the next no category
I'll have
left
to keep
behind?
I'll have to keep that in mind. Yeah, that would be a great future showcase.
It's just slide puzzles the whole time.
Yeah, doing all 15 of those 15? I think it's 15. But the person, Greylick Bread, who has the world record in that meme category, is actually, it's really impressive watching him do these slide puzzles because it's like he solves them so quickly. Like it's
So
it's
fast.
incredible.
All
Like
right, y'all.
his brain is way too fast.
I want to give y'all just one more moment to let everyone watching know where they can find you, what they can expect on your channels. And we're going to be moving on to our next show tonight. Which is going to be some
right.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Awesome. All right, so once again, my name is Mr. Alberto. I think I'm losing my voice. Mr. Alberto, my Twitch name is Mr. Alberto23. That's my Twitch username. I stream Windmaker HD attempts. I'm also learning Twilight Princess right now. I'm learning the any percent category. I'm brand new to it, so I'm learning that as well. And I stream Windmaker HD all the time. So you can find me there. I also have my YouTube, Mr. Alberto, though I think it's youtube.com/user/14 Mr. Alberto, because I changed it from that to Mr. Alberto, so you can find me there. And I also have a Twitter, which I just Mr. Alberto on Twitter. So that's where you can find me there. Joash, you want to link your socials?
Yeah, and
Wildebeest?
I'm Joash, of course, and you can find me at obviously twitch.tv /Joash, Joaish. I also speedrun this game. I'm currently doing runs of this game right now, as we mentioned before. I'm currently trying to get second place back in the no barrier skip category, or trying to go for sub 3. But I'm also planning on doing all dungeons and maybe 100% as well. But I run this game. I also run Majora's Mask 3D a lot. I've done some runs of Super Mario 64 as well, and I'm trying to branch out a little bit here and there as well. I also do some casual playthroughs here and there. I also have a YouTube. You can also find it with the same username, Joash. And I also have a Twitter, at Joash1, I think. But yeah, I do a lot of speedruns of this game, some casual playthroughs here and there, some pretty goofy moments, pretty chill hangout place. So yeah.
He also has a great chair.
That is
Looks
true.
so comfortable.
I use a big recliner. So if you want to see what a true gamer chair is, there you go.
And
Joash is also a really big Zote fan from Hollow Knight.
Ah, yes, from my legendary Hollow Knight playthrough, my favorite character, Zote the Mighty.
And I'm Wildebeest. I stream Twilight Princess speedruns. I'm doing 100%. Have been for a little bit now. I also stream myself making video game music covers 2 days a week. And I also run Wind Waker HD, Majora's Mask sometimes, and potentially other games in the future.
Well, thank y'all so much. This has been a fantastic showcase. Thank you again. Chat, please go give all 3 of these guys a follow. They all deserve it. And make sure you stick around, because after this break, we will have the community spotlight featuring Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Stay tuned.
And thanks again for having us.